Okay, and welcome to Music, Philosophy, and More, episode number 4. Moving right along with this. Within less than a month, we're up to episode number 4.
It's a good number 4.
Yeah, it is a good number. It's a nice square number.
It's also a good baseball number, too. Carol Jr. and Lou Gehrig.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, also football, Brett Favre, so.
Four bases.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good number?
Yeah, you feel good about that?
I like 4. It's an even number. Even numbers are good.
Yeah, I like 4, too. So, well, this is episode number 4. So, my guest here today is Thomas T. Scuderi, and he's a longtime friend. And before he was a friend, he was a person who shared the similar path as me, you know, through schools and just kind of living as Brooklynites and relatively close neighbors. And, you know, our paths crossed some years ago, and then they continued to cross. And, you know, we became friends along the way with many various adventures and
oh, we got plenty of adventures.
And stories to tell. So I'm pleased to have you here today, Tom.
It's an honor to be on your show.
I must say that it's thanks to Tom that I really got clear on taking action on doing a talk show now. I was longing to do this for a while, and it was Tom's encouragement that made me think that now might be the time to go ahead. So this might not have happened until some distant time in the future, so thanks, Tom, for inspiring me to do that.
You're welcome. And right now, we need something positive right now. We're all in lockdown, quarantine, and music, and talking about music is a good way to escape right now. And thanks to your music show, it was really good, and it was really positive. So I'm happy you did it, and happy everybody tuned in to listen to it, and it gave some good vibes, and, you know, it gives a nice escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an escape is, you know, when Tom approached me about, he also was the one to recommend I would do that regular Facebook Live show, and it was something I was on the periphery of my vision, thinking like, yeah, and why not? I'll do some live streams once in a while. But Tom brought to mind that this might be a time during the quarantine, this was, you know, when I started it, that people really could use something inspiring as an alternative to all the negative kind of garbage that we're seeing in the mainstream media and just all around us. You know, it could be in alternative media too. So I hearing that I could actually not only share my gifts and share my music, but also maybe possibly help people at the same time. Maybe I had that ability to do so. He helped me to make that connection and then go forth with it. And then after every episode, or I'll probably all 16 episodes I did 8 personal shows, then I did 8 jam-alongs. I'll get a call or a text from Tom or something, and he would explain how it went and tell me how, you know, who was watching and how he felt it did and how my performance was. And so, you know, Tom, I'm titling this episode One Man Street Team, and it's really from his efforts during that time that made me remember his power as a one-man street team. And it's not just mine, because I know he promotes anyone he believes in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that, who he truly is a fan of and who he promotes. And it could be you, too, depending on if you're a creator that Tom likes. He might be promoting you right now or will in the future. You never know.
Yes, music is the universal language, and as a music fan, I enjoy music so much. And I've been to so many different venues the last couple of years, and I met people and these great singer-songwriters, which we'll be talking to. I've been mentioning about them, but it's a good escape from reality. So I'm just happy to be part of the show and happy that I helped encourage you. And remember, you got a big audience around because you got family in Japan, Norway, you did work in Brazil, you were in India, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank you, Tom, for reminding me of the various, you know, things that are in my life that, from an outside point of view, might, I don't know, from an inside point of view, I forget, you know, I can't see them, but from your point of view, you see these things that maybe I don't notice and bring it to attention. I thanks for that.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for.
That's right. So, hello, Idris Busari. So, just once again checking in. I know I've been doing this a lot, and thank you everyone for chiming in. If the audio's okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that everyone was actually responding. So let me just read to a few comments here, see how the audio is. For me, it's not a stereo image. Nick says, this happened with my other power stream too. Right. Here's myself. Okay, a little volume. Too high. Okay.
Thank you for Stu for checking in, Stu Wilkinson. And Rachel Mello, your cousin.
Okay.
So we got family checking in. We got good friends. So it's going to be a great show.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, so thank you, Nick. So Nick is saying that I could use a little low-end cut. I don't think I have a low-end roll-off on my audio, so I'm just going to go with it. But Tom can come up a little bit, so I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Closer.
Okay.
And Nick, let us know how that is. Wait, that's for me. So we're going to keep on going. Stuart said the audio is okay. Nick is a bit of an audiophile, so he's able to give a little more in-depth detail. So these are very directional mics. Some mics you can just kind of talk around. These are directional. So
hey, now it's just powers. Anything we can learn about, on the fly, especially a live show.
Right, and it's a live stream, so our friends are listening. So if they can participate by sharing, then this is a great community event. So yeah, I am by no means trying to pretend I'm a master podcaster. I want a podcast because I believe I have a lot to share, and more than just that I have a lot to share, I believe I know so many people who have a lot to share, and I have a feeling I have some good questions that I could ask people, and if I ask those questions, we might learn a lot as a community, and then others would have a chance to tell their story. So I believe in that.
I agree with that.
So let's see, we got a few more comments here.
All right. Oh, friend Marcello. All right. Thank you for checking in.
Wow. So Nick says that he saw us at the bitter end when I played with Jeremy. And I recognize the name Nick Scarboni. So I recognize your name, Nick. Once I see the face, I'll put it together. And Deanna is joining. So hello, Deanna. And I'm about to ask some questions. So if I'm wrong that, Nick, you're not an audiophile, sorry, it might have been confusing you with someone else. And if you are an audiophile, then I think it's the Nick I'm thinking of. All right.
Okay.
First question, Tom.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Can you remember what it was that got you into enjoying music in the first place?
Probably as a kid, with my dad just playing the great music of the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, The Who, and just this classic rock music that just like these great players and great instruments and great singers and songwriters, and just telling them music and just enjoying it, just enjoying the instruments, the solos.
Thank you. And I'm just also getting some more feedback here on, so now that Tom came up, I'm lower. Okay, I just put my volume up. Let me know if that's okay, guys. Thank you, Darlene, for your feedback about the volume, and Nick, too. I should mark where these volume knobs are here.
Okay. We could do that with Sharpie.
Yeah, right.
I got plenty of Sharpies.
All right, I think I should be pretty good. I don't have headphones to hear my own balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we keep going. So you listen to a lot of music, particularly classic rock, with your dad?
Yeah, Led Zeppelin. You have the Allman Brothers. You have Leonard Skinner. What else? U2. And there's Steve Ray Vaughan, the late Steve Ray Vaughan. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was a big guitar. Like I really love guitar. Guitar is my favorite instrument. Like I really like the guitar solo. So like Jimi Hendrix, I think to me, my personal opinion, greatest guitar player of all time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So Jimi Hendrix, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Some of these classic rock greats. Sorry, I just have to
Yes.
respond here. So it says that Darlene says that I have a soft voice. Yeah, Darlene, I was just listening to the last podcast to kind of get an idea of if I did the balance right, and you're right. I do have a soft voice, and I know my mother asked me to repeat myself a lot, and I can make the effort to speak louder. I don't know why I used to be not a loudmouth. I used to be louder, and I trained myself to get quiet over the years. I don't know, can't exactly pinpoint what that was, but anyway, I'll try to speak up a lot. Good point. Thank you, Darlene. And Nick is an aspiring audiophile.
Okay.
All right. So, next question. What were some of your earliest inspirations, if that's any different from what you just answered already?
Just basically a band, like solo artists of rock and roll, just pure rock and roll. I mean, over the years it's changed, but there's some really good music and some one-hit wonders, and there's some people that last the test of time, like U2 has been going strong since the 1980s. And you have some bands that I like some songs, but not the whole albums, like REM, for example.
Yeah. I don't think there's nobody ever talks about that great REM album.
I remember when I bought Monster, when I had Bang and Blang and What's a Fixie Kenneth, I bought the rest of the album. I was like, why did I buy the rest of the album? Why? There's only 2 songs I like in the album. But then you have like Pearl Jam 10, which is a perfect album. Or Super Announced Soundgarden, you know, a perfect album.
Okay. All right. So I'm being a little distracted by the awesome feedback we're getting here.
Yes.
I'm not a pro at managing all these things at once. So I forgot to say hello, Deanna. Thanks for joining in. Deanna says hi to you, and
Hi.
she's also a Madison friend.
All right.
And she wants to know, what instruments do you play?
I actually don't play any instruments. I never learned. That's probably a mistake, but I just love music. I love rock and roll, and just love the power of the instruments. That like the guitar takes a whole different level. Like when Steve Ray Vaughan, when he did Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo Child, like wow, it's a whole different level. I mean, first of all, to cover Jimi Hendrix is hard enough as it is. I mean, he's an iconic guitar player, but Steve Ray Vaughan was one of the few people who actually could cover him, like, and did justice to it and take it to a whole nother level.
Yes, that's true. So Darlene, she says, don't change, just make it louder. So I just loudered it. I also pressed one button, which I think will make a difference. Let me know if my voice is a little more balanced now. I see Alexis Ray's joined. How you doing, Alexis? Sending a wave. So Nick Scarboni is actually saying that the only great REM album is the EP Chronic Town. Are you aware of that one?
Okay.
Do you know that one?
I think a little bit. I mean, I remember All Manner for the People, and that was in an album which, like, you know, like a couple of songs, like, I think I learned my lesson. Like, some bands just buy the greatest hits, you just have the whole thing, just get the only hit songs, and other bands just everything's good. Like Google Dolls, excellent. I mean, Johnny Resnick is one of my favorite singer-songwriters. I mean, he's really good. I mean, Black Balloon, Iris, Name. Adam Durtz from Count the Crows, who I think is great. I mean, he's not the most positive, but very good singer-songwriter with Count the Crows. Very good vocalist. You could definitely hear Van Morrison with his vocals and his way he writes his music. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that. So Deanna says that that's great. Jimi Hendrix is the best. Yeah. So, by the way, Music Philosophy and More, this podcast is not just for musicians, although it would kind of seem that way. And the last 3 guests I've had were all musicians. But Tom's life is crossed music, has embraced music so deeply that he's a force to be reckoned with. So in the musical scene, so I have to include people such as Tom, in a podcast like this. I suppose if I had a friend who was a great philosopher but like just didn't like music, I guess that wouldn't apply maybe to this podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be, flexible with that. So Chronic Town came out in 1982 before
I was
Murmur.
2 years old.
Look at that.
2 years old.
Yeah. So yeah, you would think that if they had a good album, it might have been one of the early ones.
Yeah. I mean, they have great songs. The whole album was just like.
Yeah,
like,
no, never. I never heard an REM album that I want to listen to again. Songs, yes.
I mean, like Lenny Kravitz, I'm a big fan of. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, he's got so many great songs. I mean, even not of course, the obvious ones like "Oh, You're Gonna Go My Way," American Woman cover from the Guess Who, "Fly Away," and there's a nice song called "Mr. Cab Driver," which is a really cult song. Dig In, and he's, I think, one of the best game changers, Lenny Kravitz, music we got there. Another game changer, I would say, is Jack White of the White Stripes, because he's one of I would say, this generation's Renaissance mans who could do anything he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Play great guitar, different bands, Dead Weather, the Racketeers. I mean, Jack White's awesome. I mean, I think he's one of those guitar heroes we got now. We always had, back in then we had these guitar heroes: Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Pete Townsend. We have The Edge, Richard Sambora from Bon Jovi. But then who's Slash from Guns N' Roses? Like, who's this coming generation? And I would definitely say Jack White's one of them, and Gary Clark Jr. is another one.
Okay, cool. So, so Nick points out, Nick Scaraboni, that you don't have to play music to know when it moves you. That's for sure. And he says the REM album that he mentioned from '82 has only 5 songs. So maybe that's the key.
Maybe less is more.
Yeah, less is more for
Less is
their
more.
albums, I guess. Could be frank. I don't think any of my own albums have, just hits all the way through either, or just, but anyway, it's just kind of something I've noticed as well. Some artists have albums that are just great all the way through. REM, I haven't noticed that. Enough about picking on REM. REM, if you're watching this, which most likely you are, we love you. So, no harm, no foul.
They're not no Def Leppard.
If you want to co-write a song or anything like that, just let me know or Tom know.
Yes.
If you want to do that.
But Def Leppard's much better.
Right. It's good to know the listeners' opinions, as Darlene said. And Deanna said she didn't know that you didn't play because you look like you might be a musician, a singer, or a drummer, or a guitar player.
I fake it pretty good. If you check out John Henry's music videos, which I'm in the videos for, Late for School, Martian Marshmallows,
Yes.
Laser Star, and Bells of Gladness.
I can envision once I figure out OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software, something I'm learning as a live streamer. We might be able to do another time where you come down and we talk about the videos, and then I could actually show clips of the videos as we're speaking, which might be a fun thing to do, to mix that up together.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so let's see. Let me move to the next question. I see hello, Annalisa Chatwin, for joining. And then Nick is going to wants to come by with the melodica.
Okay.
Is that an instrument, Nick? So, what were some of your favorite bands growing up? I think we covered that, but let's say, I don't know if it's fair, let's say your top 10 favorite bands. If they were different when you were younger, maybe say, like, in this era, these are my top 5, and in this now, what's your top 5?
Okay.
Something to that effect.
All right. I would say Led Zeppelin, Beatles, The Who, The Doors, probably U2. Then if you go for this generation, Pearl Jam, Green Day, Foo Fighters, Google Dolls, Counting Crows.
Mm-hmm.
I might get a little heat for this one.
But hold on, we're still in the 90s, so
Yeah.
do you have, who are you listening to? Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, I know where you're going. So you kind of gave me different eras, but, like, was it like when you were a teenager, you listened to only classic rock, and then when you were in your 20s, you listened to the 90s bands? How does that work?
All mixed in, because I like new and old rock and roll. So I'll enjoy hearing Leonard Skinner, Beatles, and at the same time I can listen to Foo Fighters, Green Day, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and also the band which I may get a little trouble with, Nickelback.
Oh, he said it, folks at home. He said it. He said Nickelback. So,
Here's the other band too.
sorry.
I'll say too, Creed.
Woo!
I liked them. I mean, the first two albums are good. All tracks are good for Creed. My Own Prisoner, Torn, Nickelback. I like the first 2-3 albums, you know. But, you know, they're good from Canada, Nickelback, you know. I mean, also another band from Canada, 3 Days Grace. I did see them live last year, 2019, Masquerade Garden with Disturbed. Awesome show.
3 Days Grace, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I. All right. To be fair, I'm not against Nickelback. I'm not against Creed. Not a fan. Thanks to you, I really, and you know, I have to give myself a little credit. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to listen to what people say. You've let me hear some Nickelback stuff and maybe Creed, 3 Days Grace, and some various other bands. You showed me Raconteurs. I found in my journal from 2008, like the day you showed me it, I found that day. And I know you're a White Stripes fan, you know, with the Dave Z program. I did the song Seven Nation Army with the kids.
That was excellent, fantastic job. The kids did a great job.
Thanks, appreciate it. That was a tricky one. With the rhythms a little, it seems simple, but the rhythms a little tricky. But anyway, yeah, I appreciate that. So I'm open to learning. I don't want to be one of these old fogies who say, "Oh, just music nowadays stinks." Although I kind of think mainstream music, by and large, is low quality. It's kind of meant to make people stupid nowadays. A lot of the mainstream music, pop music for sure. But I'm glad you have a really open mind and just your pure heart. So when you hear, you just respond to how you feel about it without too much preconception. I think that's important. Our friends here are reconnecting, and that's really cool. That's another big part of live streaming. Just to get off topic for a second, is that we create community. So, it's not just about John and Tom hanging out. Or Tom's story, although that's super important. I'm going to dig in more. But it's also about, everyone out there who is listening here on Facebook right now and reconnecting.
Also, I forgot, there's some female singers, too, I like, too. I think one of the best singers out there, singer-songwriters, is Sal Bareilles. I mean, I did see her live in Waitress. Fantastic show. If you did catch it, you're very lucky. I got to catch it 4 times, and once with Sal Bareilles, and she was fantastic. And I would say Kelly Clarkson, awesome singer-songwriter. I would say, Sheryl Crow. I'm a big Sheryl Crow fan. I mean, since the beginning, Sheryl Crow. I mean, not everybody knows she was a backup singer, with Michael Jackson and Don Henley. And she's still going strong. And like some of the newer artists I saw live, singer-songwriters, Natalie Gelman.
Hold on, it's a whole other can. I want to get into that specifically. So thanks. So Tom's also into singer-songwriters and female singer-songwriters, which I think is a little bit rare, for a man to clearly be a fan of various female singer-songwriters. Maybe I'm wrong, but I am too. I don't have a long list, but I am. So we got some questions here from Deanna says, Tom, do you like jazz?
No.
I thought that was going to be a quick answer. And then Deanna says that she doesn't like auto-tune, thinks it's nasty. What do you think about that? When they they unnaturally make someone's voice sound in tune for music, like particularly when we're talking about today's pop music.
Nah, you like to hear the natural voice. That's the instrument, like Freddie Mercury for Queen. That's another band I should have mentioned, Queen too. I mean, Freddie Mercury is one of the best vocalists of all time. I mean, his voice was an instrument itself. I mean, it's very hard. And fortunate enough, I got to see one of the best singers. Did a great job, Bohemian Rhapsody, not once but twice. Constantine Maroulis. for American Idol fame and Rocker Ages, and he nailed it. Closed the show 2 separate times. I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Bohemian Rhapsody nailed that out of the ballpark.
Yeah, he's an exceptional singer. We're gonna talk a little bit about Constantine Maroulis in a little while. So Nick Scarboni mentioned My Brightest Diamond is a band with a great female singer, Shara Warden. And then Deanna says she loves Sarah Bareilles as well. And I Choose You was her wedding song.
That's a very good song.
So she's a fan as well.
Actually, my favorite song by Sarah Bareilles is Brave. It's very uplifting, positive. I mean, it has everybody dancing in the music video. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, whatever. Just that it's very positive, uplifting music, which you don't always see that right in today's music. So, Sarah Bareilles, and of course, everybody knows about Love Song, which is the first song that broke through his first single. So, but.
So, just shout out to Oliva Chava watching from Norway. If there's any people on there who on your watch party you'd like to say hello to, please do.
Okay, that's nobody new right now. So
okay, and Nick Scarboni mentions if you think you don't like auto-tune, wait till you hear the person without it. That's funny. Yeah, so that means there's only certain singers. There's a certain type of singer that can only exist once auto-tune came along, right? So, meaning that if they couldn't hold a tune before, they couldn't qualify as a singer, but with auto-tune, you could fudge it, which is weird. It's weird. You know, I think my auto-tune's been used on my voice a few times, sometimes without my knowing.
Yeah.
But it does make it, it's a sound. You know,
I mean, it works. Some sounds works good.
Like
by Bon Jovi, it works pretty good.
But that's not. You might be thinking about the whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
That's not auto-tune.
Yeah.
I forgot what you call that. That's some sort of like
it's
guitar
my live and
pedal
like,
or something like
yeah,
that. That's Richie Sambora
yeah.
doing that. It's not on Bon Jovi's voice. And let's see, Megan Lenius, Sile's Gravity, another amazing, powerful voice. She's the female equivalent of Freddie Mercury.
Wow.
So says Nick. Wow.
You know, another female singer was pretty good. Amy Lee for Evanescence.
Evanescence, yeah.
Yeah.
She's powerful.
She's powerful.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we're talking about female singers, you know, I've been trying to go by my hello, Stenato from Norway. Quick shout out. I've been trying to go from my interview thing here, but this conversation is really flowing naturally, so I'll try not to be too tight about that. Female singers that I love, Tori Amos.
I know that one. I remember that, Tori Amos.
She has a song, Cornflake Girl. If you never heard it, go check it out, guys. It's nasty in a good way.
She did cover Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, she covered Teen Spirit, Smells Like Teen Spirit
yeah.
on piano, and almost like made it a ballad. She's wild. I think she dated Trent Reznor at some point. Like, he's an
interesting character, very creative.
Yeah, certainly not my type of, not my cup of tea. But yeah. But anyway, females. Sarah McLachlan.
I remember that too.
Very special. I heard a great story from the guy in Run DMC. Who are the Run DMC guys? Do you know their names?
I'm drawing a blank. I mean, they did the song "Walk This Way" with Aerosmith.
Yeah, one of the main kind of rappers of Run DMC, like who put the words together really great. He was it Chuck D's from the other band. Anyway, he told this great story. I heard it at the CD Baby DIY conference 2019 in Austin, Texas. This rapper got into a funk, got really depressed after he blew up with Run DMC, and he was suicidal. He told us, and the only song that made him feel better in the entire world was Sarah McLachlan's "Angel."
Wow!
And it's all he wanted to listen to for like a year.
Wow!
And then he ended up hooking up with. Wow! And Nick says he met Reverend Run at the airport. Decent fellow. I'm not sure if it was Run that told this story or one of the other guys, but anyway, yeah, he was so moved by that song, and then he eventually was like, united with Sarah McLachlan and flew out to Canada in her home studio to record a song. And it was revealed that part of what put this guy in such a depression was he found out he was adopted.
Oh.
He didn't know it. And then that song, Angel, was written by Sarah McLachlan, and she was also adopted. And she revealed that to him personally. And that it's kind of about those feelings, those kind of unspoken feelings where you feel like you don't know who your parents are and why they gave you up, type of thing. So such a weird, unique connection between this rapper and Sam. It's awesome.
That's what makes music so good, because music is a universal language, and it connects to everybody some way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. And hello, Hannah Roth CV. Thank you for joining. I'd love to have Hannah on the podcast sometime, too. Hannah was someone I wrote Jack, the children's musical, with years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, so Nick is sharing that when he was depressed, the song, the death theme from the Untouchable soundtrack was inspiring him and made him, bringing him to tears as he thinks about it. Yeah, there's some music that... It gets me. It's so funny. When I do Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah.
Not when I listen to it. When I play it, almost somewhere in the middle, I just lock up and I start sobbing. I have to like play it a few times beforehand if I'm going to perform it, so I work the tears out. A few other songs that are kind of about the father theme really get to me.
You know, it's a tough one. Father of Mine, Everclear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which it is if you can relate to it.
Yeah, you can relate to it. I mean, your father leaving as a kid, you know, does it abandon you, you know, and that's what Art Sucker says from Everclear. I mean, it's a very, you know, hits you right here.
It's deep, yeah.
It's a deep song. It's not, I mean, like if you had a great father and, you know, and you wonder all this, like going to ball games, all the different stuff you do as a kid with your dad, and your dad just disappears, you know, you don't have that memories, you cling on to, you jealous of your friends. Has his dads doing the ball games or going to concerts or going to plays and stuff like that, and you don't have that, you know. So, but it's a tough song, but it's a very good song, but it's a tough song, you know.
Yeah, one thing, you know, I did again when I was doing the Facebook Live concert series this past May and June, I did a Father's Day concert, and I really did my best to find as many songs that were Father's Day related, and I tried not to just keep it positive, like celebrating dads, because I realized a lot of people probably feel kind of very mixed feelings on Father's Day, you know, because people who didn't have a good relationship with their dad, or the dad left, or maybe died young, whatever. And so I was exploring different aspects of what fathers mean to people, and that's one of them, you know, this anger, and this really like mixed feeling of jealousy and for your peers, and it's complicated, you know, the concept of fatherhood in general.
Your song Daddy is one of the best songs. I mean, you wrote, I think it's one of the most, as a fan, I would say that's one of your best songs you wrote, Daddy.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And that's a song that I wrote when I was 17 in the fall of my 17th year. And it was one of the very first few acoustic songs I wrote, coming out of heavy metal, playing with heavy metal bands before then. And I cried when I wrote it. Then I cried the first few times I played it. Excuse me. And it's one of these songs that I always play when I don't know what else to play. Yeah. It's the first one that comes to mind. Like, oh, there's an opportunity to perform something. What do you want to do? I'm just going to do Daddy, because I know it's going to speak to people. I never forget it for some reason. I forget all my other songs.
And you've got a lot of good songs. I mean,
so they got a lot of them.
I know.
It's a lot of songs, you know.
I know, and one of my favorites is Love Dinosaur, personal favorites. Which I get a little credit for that one.
Yeah, you put a couple of lines in there, a couple of words. I don't remember. Yeah.
Besides, Late for School, one of the most catchiest songs.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of Late for School, and shout out to Canella Williams who joined. Tom, I have next question. You ready?
Yes.
I'm going to jump ahead, skip around here. Can you speak about your memories of our music video collaborations? Let's just jump into Late for School. You recently posted about it 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Where has the time has gone? 6 years ago. It's unbelievable. It was one of the best days ever, best times being part of the music video, and meeting the cool cat, Josh Salant, first time.
Oh yeah, right.
It was the first time. We went to his studio, Salant Studios, and we recorded him for the music videos, and we went to PS 119, filmed there.
Right, where I just had the year before completed the American Revolution video with Rock
Excellent video.
Asylum.
Excellent
Right.
video. You were you had a cameo. You had a cameo with multiplication.
Yep, map multiplication.
Yeah,
with
that was a good.
cameo.
You're right. Nice cameo. You blink, you miss. So.
Yeah, it was a quick one.
But American Revolution was good. That was a good video. Very good video.
Put heart and soul into that, man.
I know that was good. But Late for School was a very good video because I saw behind the scenes there. You and Frank were working on it. We're filming outside your house, and I ad-lib a little bit. The newspaper I used my bag at the time for you to. It was great, and it was great. It was a great time, great experience, and something we could look back and cherish. Positive vibes in that video, and just cool. Just make a video with my best friend. Can't beat that.
Yeah,
And it's a catchy song.
great weather, right? It was June, so it was really
great.
beautiful out,
It was.
and the trees were so green outside.
It was
Yeah.
a great experience. It was definitely something I cherish, and thank you for having part of that. And it's happy that I was happy when we premiered the video. I was sharing everybody on Facebook. It's like, you gotta check this movie. I'm in it. It's a great song. It's very catchy.
Yeah, Late for School is funny. I think my friend Jason Hills says that he was playing it on the way, taking his daughter to school every day last year or something, and they were sometimes late. But that's funny. Anyway, Deanna says that, John, your voice does not need autotune. Thank you, Deanna. I appreciate that. Yeah, throughout my years, there were times when my voice might have needed some sort of tune-up, some sort of bring it to the garage and tune it up. But hopefully I've come a ways since a screaming adolescent. But yeah, I appreciate that, Deanna.
And I've seen you plenty of gigs too. Plenty of gigs I saw you perform.
Yeah,
I was a roadie a couple times.
Right, that's right. Can you think of, I don't know, maybe two? Just to say, Nick here, sorry, Tom.
Yeah.
Nick says that one of his favorite dad songs was "Living Years" from Mike and the Mechanics.
Oh, that's an excellent '80s song.
Is it? Yeah.
Excellent. I can highly recommend. It gets you there. That's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
It's it's very good. I agree with that. It's 100%. That's a good '80s song.
But the title alone gets me a little bit. "Living Years."
Yeah, it's a good ballad song. Good ballad. For rock band, you always have to have that hard song, and you gotta have that ballad song. So you get that. That's a ballad song.
Mm-hmm.
The Living Years, definitely.
Oh, that's good.
It was Loretta House. Was one time you performed?
Loretta House?
No, Loretta House.
Oh, Nolita, maybe?
Nolita House. Yeah.
Nolita. Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember that. That was
East Houston
right,
area.
East Houston Street.
Yeah.
In the basement type of thing.
Yeah, it was nice.
But that wasn't me, right? I mean,
you performed. You performed it.
Yeah, was I like leading a rock trio or something? Or
It
I
was
part
you.
of
You was part of a little
of Rob's
group.
band, right?
Yeah.
I think that was Rob Benson's
Yeah.
band.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Alan came by.
Mhm.
Our mutual friend Alan from class of '98.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great experience. That one. Of course.
That was all covers, right? Maybe some originals.
Yeah.
That was like a rock thing.
Yeah. And there was one place I think it was Long Island he took me to.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie was performing.
Oh, yeah. Was that like Rockville Center? There was maybe two in Long Island.
Yeah.
I did
You took
with Rob.
You took one in Long Island.
Was that like a corner bar? Or was
Yeah, it was a bar. It was like a bar.
kind of small.
Yeah, kind of small.
And I kind of like
You played a little
guitar
bit.
and
Yeah,
sing-
you
just
played.
I played a little bit.
You played a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not.
I
There's one
remember
where I
the-
was kind of like leading it.
Yeah, this
Maybe
one
not
you
that
you were in for a little bit. Robbie was there, and the tricks with the cards and for the drums and stuff like that. Yeah, he's right. Robbie Benz is a really good drummer. I mean, watching him with the different ways he makes the sounds, recommend that. Of course, the Lighthouse. a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was playing. Deanna was at the Lot House gigs, at least one.
I went to a couple of them, and we had a couple pictures pick up. Recently came up from that. I mean, the first time I saw you perform was the first time I got to meet you. It was at the Starbucks at the Brooklyn College when I went to Brooklyn College after finishing Kingsborough.
So, okay, so I was playing in front of the Starbucks with Library Cafe, right?
Yeah.
And then you came over and introduced yourself or something?
Yeah. Afterwards, you were great. You did Billy Joe. It was in New York State of Mind, I think. I remember when you did the show a couple weeks ago, you played that song, Billy Joe, and I think it was that one, I think.
I would have, yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing it that era.
Yeah, and I said, gotta have you on my show. I was doing a radio show at Brooklyn College, and you had the band performed, and it was really good. That's the first time. And the funny part is, we went to school together, but we didn't know each other.
Yeah, right. I recognized your face from Madison, but we never really knew each other at that time.
I mean, you did your music stuff. I was doing recycling in James Madison High School, keeping the school clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we never really crossed. I mean, I met so many people because of you. I mean, your connections. I mean, I didn't know Jason Hills. I mean, I knew by face, but I didn't know him with the Roy H. Man and Madison. I didn't cross paths until many years later. Yeah. And actually, he's a part of my first time having my first drink because of you.
Oh, okay.
Before you were going to Brazil.
Yeah, right. Was that when we went out, like into the city?
No. In your mom's house. Okay. I had my first drink.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not an alcoholic. Otherwise, you could blame that on me.
I had a scotch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the first drink.
He's a very moderate drinker, Tom.
Yeah,
so
I like wine,
I don't feel bad about introducing him.
Yeah, I worked at a liquor store for a few years, and I liked wine, and I still like wine, like sweet, semi-sweet, but the first scotch was like, wow, tough pill. So I'm more the wine stuff, but it was you, me, and Jason Hills. That was my experience, my first drink. Like I said, hey, I have a first drink.
Yeah, that was cool, and I really had to like warm you up to it, right? You weren't so eager to do that.
We did a little Sprite with it too, so try to ease the pain a little bit. You know, I always try something with you, you know.
So yeah, absolutely. So Nick is asking, what was the name of your band with Jeremy, Jason, and Dave? You guys used to groove. Do you remember the name of that band? You wouldn't, because from that. Would you? No, that was it. Just had ended when I met you. So anyway, that's Modus Tollens. Yeah, Modus Tollens was the band that I was in with Jeremy.
Yeah. And
Dave and Jason. Deanna says, I have Jeremy and John to thank for showing me Sunny Deli by James Madison. Okay. Sunny Deli. Wow. Closed now.
Yeah, that's it turned into something else. Actually, it's been revolving door. That it was a deli with something else. It keeps changing. It hasn't like hit the right spot.
Okay.
It's I think it's a kosher place now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm taking the B100 every day going to Madison.
So yeah, Nick was is remembering Modus Tollens. Yeah, Modus Tollens was, just on a side note. I don't know if you know much about Modus Tollens. It began as a 3-piece at the end of '99 with Jeremy Batchelor, Dave Evans, and myself, and like a kind of a power trio, power pop, and became a jam band. And then and I was the singer, songwriter, guitar player. Dave on drums, Jeremy on bass, and then it was gently revealed to me that they would prefer if they had another singer besides me, which is a blow to my ego. But I'm glad we went that way because we got a really great singer. So, so Jason Hills joined on keyboard by mid 2000. So we were maybe 6 months or so with just the three of us. And then Jason Hills joined on keyboard, and then that was all 4 Madison guys, all with experience in the James Madison band together. And then we had had a guy named Andy Beck join us on vocals by the end of 2000, and he was with us for about a year. Great singer. And then Amir Miyamoto, a good friend of mine, joined as a sax player. So we were a six-piece.
I met him and Robbie at the show when you had him on my radio show.
Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, they came on your show, too?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great to hear that.
I wish I could find the tapes. I wish. I know.
Maybe I'll run into it somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right. So, anyway, we started off as a three-piece. We went to a six-piece. The whole thing lasted about 2 years, something like that. Maybe I'm not doing the math right. Anyway, it's coming out in my my autobiography.
We can't wait.
I'm covering. Thank you. I'm covering the whole story of my life as best I can, year by year. And 99, 2000, 2001. It's got the Motorstones story. It goes into 2002 a little bit. Doing my best to put that all in there, and then goes into District 22, which is the band after that, then into the Pencil People, which flows right into Level 6 days. You know, it's just there's so many stories I have to share that I feel like I just have to write a book to put it all in one place.
It's
so,
good.
You know.
It's good to write a book and keep those memories and share those memories and keep those together and share other people. You know, your musical experiences over time and what you learn, what you have learned. You know, over time too.
Hopefully, someone can read it and be inspired to write their own story, tell their own story, or just be inspired to do something. You know, but I think we all have stories to tell, and it's important to share them. That's how we keep each other inspired. Yeah. So just before I lose track of this, it's moving. So Nick Scarboni says that. Hold on a sec. Yeah. He says he played keys with Jay Donnelly and Duke for a bit, and Jason Batchelor. Okay, yeah. So now I think I know who we're talking about. That's Nick. You are the Nick that I think you are. Yeah. Now it's coming clear to me. And yeah, he remembers Motorstones. If you like Motorstones so much, why don't you join them? Right. That's funny. I'm glad you were a big fan, Nick. I didn't fully realize that at the time. I appreciate that. Yeah, then there was Andy and the Bitter End show I saw. I don't know if we played the Bitter End. We might have, and I don't remember it, but we definitely played the Elbow Room many times, which was across the street from the Bitter End. So it could be what you're thinking, or my memory's just off. Yeah, Andy. And also, yeah, I played with Jason Donnelly and Duke and Jeremy Batchelor in a band called Sidonia. Which is a really heavy progressive rock band. For probably a couple of weeks, a month max, I was filling in as their lead singer. It was I don't think even Level 6, the hard heavy rock band Level 6 was louder than these guys. These guys were loud as hell. There's some legendary bands that are super loud, like AC/DC concerts. These guys might have rivaled them. Sidonia was louder than hell. And they were good, but it was ear-bleeding loud. Very good. I mean, quite a skilled group of guys. So anyway, thanks for chiming in, Nick.
Did you mention about AC/DC? Who would you take between the Bon Scott and Brian Johnson?
Okay, yeah. Elbow Room. So Brian Johnson or
Bon Scott? Because you got two different eras. Because they were starting to become big. Then, unfortunately, Bon Scott passed away. But then Brian just took it to whole, Back in Black, and the rest of his history. I mean, they're both great singers. I mean, AC/DC got two different eras. But I mean, most bands would have folded after losing that lead singer. But thankfully, they didn't fold and continued on, still kicking butt.
So I'll answer that. Nick is saying some funny stuff here. He said, right, that he remembers it was the Elbow Room, and we talked when he was in California. Yeah, I remember that, Nick. And then he said, you were on the website for Sidonia back in the day, that I was on their website. I guess we did a photo shoot.
Okay.
There is at least that one photo with, I think it's Frank holding the snake or something like that. And, yeah, Jason Donnelly is also a great favorite collaborator of Nick's, too. And Duke is an effing beast, which there is no question about that. Nobody can contest that comment after you hear Duke playing. It's like a force of nature. Like picture what King Kong or T-Rex playing the drums would sound like, and that's what this guy sounds like. The biggest drum sound I've ever heard. Smashing my face in when I listen to him play drums, this guy. Anyway, Nick knows what I'm talking about. And anyone else who knows Sidonia or any bands Duke plays in would have known that.
I mean, my favorite drummer of all time is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. I mean, I remember I asked that question with Josh when you had him from the broadcast. You know, for me, it's John Bonham, number 2 Keith Moon, and number 3 is Dave Grohl, all time. Yes,
you're very. You stick to your guns. You've said that for a long time. For me, I'll get back to the AC/DC question.
Yeah.
For me, as far as favorite drummers. Yeah. I have to. Okay, I'd say number 1. I'd say without a doubt is Nickel McBrain from Iron Maiden.
I know you're a big Iron Maiden fan.
Exceptional. When I listen to Iron Maiden for the past few years, I could almost just listen to the drums. If it was a solo drum track, I would probably still listen to it as I'm jogging. It's that good. It's so musical. And I understand why someone like him can make a career out of playing the drums because it's so fun what he does. Then I have to put Lars Ulrich from Metallica.
I'll give you credit for Lars. He's good. He's very good.
I'm going to extend this to at least 5 because I can't do 3. Okay. Lars Ulrich from Metallica he's a drummer who makes playing drums look fun, and he doesn't do what you expect him to do. I have to say, I can't really predict what he's going to do. Can't really.
No, I'll give you credit for that. He's up there. He's a very respected drummer, and he's definitely part of the energy of the band. So if he's not in the band's not going nowhere. So.
Oh yeah, for that band for sure. Speaking of that style drumming, Nick Menza from Megadeth, who he played in various bands, I'm sure.
I know you're a big Megadeth fan too.
That era, Nick Menza, his drumming was the most special to me because it was very precise, very speedy, but very groovy and very unique. You know, the speed itself is not what gets me. It's the groove and the uniqueness, the power. Nick Menza, Lars Ulrich, Nickel McBrain. There was a guy named Ingo Schwichtenberg who played for Halloween.
That's another band I know you talk about Halloween. I mean, that's one of the bands you've seen numerous times.
Yeah, certainly one of my favorites. And he was the first drummer, I believe. Could have been the second, but he was the drummer on the Key albums, the early albums in the late 80s. Yeah, Nick Scarbona likes Nick Menza too. Of course, man. Nick Menza we've lost. He's now passed away. Ingo Schwichtenberg died young. And fortunately Nick McBrain's still going, Lars Ulrich's still going. And I think I'm gonna go there. The next one that comes to mind is there's a lot of great drummers. I mean, the Dave Matthews drummer is exceptional, but not really something I listen to. I would say Tommy Lee.
Okay, he's very innovative what he does.
I enjoy his drumming, you know, but it makes between him and Matt Sorum, who filled in for Guns N' Roses towards the end of their career.
Yeah, Matt's pretty good.
Yeah, he's awesome. I probably can list another 10. I love drummers almost as much as guitar players. I really do.
Did you mention a couple? I got to mention Taylor Hawkes.
Oh,
Foo
Taylor
Fighters.
Hawkins,
I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, you forgot to mention the female singer who you like before, Alanis Morissette. And tied in, Taylor Hawkes was the drummer for Alanis Morissette. So thankfully, that was the best thing Dave Grohl did is get Taylor to the band because Dave, you know, was a great drummer. And the Foo Fighters, and he did Queen of Stone Age, and he did play drums with Tom Petty and the Heartbreaker Saturday Night Live. And after that performance, true fact, Tom said, "You want to join the band?" He's like, "Sorry, Tom, I got a band coming on," which became the Foo Fighters.
Right,
so
right.
that's a little music fun fact for you right there.
And Nick's just mentioning a couple others. saying, "Oh wow, Deanna is a belly dancer too. I didn't know that." Nice. And flute player. I didn't know you played flute and singing, and she's also relearning guitar. She's a musical person, Deanna.
Awesome. Rock on.
Yes. Keep the music alive.
Somebody says Phil Collins, I see that.
So, yeah, Nick is mentioning Phil Collins.
Well, yes, I mean, in the air tonight.
And Mike Portnoy.
I mean, Phil Collins, think about it. I mean, I posed a question for the podcast. Remember Phil Collins and Don Henley? Like, who would you take a singer drummer-wise? I mean, I know I would personally take Phil Collins. I mean, Don Henley, don't get me wrong, is very good, but I just like Phil Collins' drums just a little bit better. I mean,
yeah, for me, Phil Collins, hands down, I would take over Don Henley. It's not that I don't like Don Henley, and his name sounds more like mine, John Henry, Don Henley.
I know.
But, no, I like him. But, yeah, Phil Collins for me, by far. I'm a little more of a fan.
I'll give you another drummer, too. Roger Taylor for Queen.
Yeah.
He's very good. And also backup vocals, too. Backup vocals, very good. I mean, he gets a little underrated there. He's up there for backup vocals for Queen. I mean, I mean, that's why Queen's still going strong. I mean, him and Brian May. I mean, whoever you put there, the vocals, if it's Paul Rodgers or Adam Lambert, you know, but like Rodgers the glue, you know, him and Brian, you know. I definitely put Roger Taylor right up there for drummer. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of who else I would put for drummer too. Oh, maybe Matt Cameron from Soundgarden / Pearl Jam, because remember Pearl Jam went for drummers like left and right until they got Matt.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Matt Cameron's certainly incredible.
But remember,
memorable too. Yeah. But for me, the first Pearl Jam drummer just was awesome. He was a drummer, man. Like, yeah, I mean, certainly Matt Cameron's a professional and very unique. But I don't know what the guy's name, but that first Pearl Jam drummer really made 10 an exceptional album.
But it was a revolving door. Like Van Halen had a revolving singer door and Chili Peppers guitar, but the Pearl Jam was drummers, and until they got Matt, and that's it. Ever since Matt came more, that's it. The drummer set has been closed. The door has not been open.
Yeah, well, Matt's also a professional, right? So he knows life on the road, and he can handle that. And that makes sense to me. Nick is saying that Roger Taylor can sing like a champ, that he's the one who hits the high note in Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, now it's just power. See, we could talk. Nice conversation, you know, just talking about music. I mean, I'm passionate about music, so.
Music, philosophy, and more.
Yeah. I actually got some questions for you, too.
Oh, okay. You want to switch it up a little bit?
I'll give you a question. Who's your favorite artist do you like to listen to now, and why?
My favorite artist I like to listen to now, and why?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Without a doubt, the artist that I probably listen to the most regularly is Andreas Valenweiter. He's the Swiss harpist. Harp player, electric harp player from Switzerland. Some of the most beautiful sonic soundscapes you can imagine. If anyone's interested, please. You know, it's great for working. It's great for relaxing. It's great for doing things that that make space in your brain rather than clutter your brain. He makes me feel like if I had a vision of what paradise or heaven is, that would be the music that's playing there. So, yeah, Andreas Valenweiter. Some albums to check out are Down to the Moon, front to back, fantastic. It's only 30-plus minutes. And then White Winds, I believe it's called. There's a lot of others. Those are the two names that come to mind at the top. That's kind of in general the music I listen to the most. I'll give you a couple other bands just to kind of give you something to chew on because you probably don't know him that much.
I actually don't. So.
Yeah. I would say right now who I listen to. I'll name what's on my list. No, actually, I don't want to close this up in case I lose it. I'll tell you what's on my Spotify playlist. But I'll tell you, 2018, I think it was, maybe 2017. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words right now.
It's okay.
But Red Hot Chili Peppers was the #1 band that I listened to throughout 2018 on my Spotify.
Wow.
It shocked me. I didn't know that, but I apparently really like them. Like whenever I put them on, I'm like, yeah, that's the mood I want. Because I was biking to work a lot. I was jogging. So moving, that music gets me going. And it's not heavy metal by any means, but it's got a lot of power that it's like almost as powerful as heavy metal in a way. It's really punchy, you know. It's got a good vibe. There's an artist, indie artist named Chris Robley, which I'm a fan of. I became a fan through CD Baby, and I got to meet him a few times. He's a nice guy. I'll also mention there's a band called A Beautiful Mistake. The Beautiful Mistake or A Beautiful Mistake. I think they're from California. They've only put out a few albums. They did something recently. It's good. There's some really, really good screaming. Plus these melodic vocals, similar to what my bands have done in the past. I still listen to Halloween. Very much still listen to Iron Maiden. There's a hip hop duo called Def Tech, which is one guy from Japan, one guy American from Hawaii, and they kind of rap, but they sing and they're melodic, and they both practice Buddhism, the same Buddhist practice that I do, which just incidental, but they just really good vibe. You know, it's not like they're preaching to you. They're just trying to keep the vibe going. It's honest music, but it's catchy. It's really, it's funky too. Nick mentions funky, and Deanna apparently likes RHCP as well. And I'll go back and check the comments later. Nick, I see, recommended a musician that went by in the comments. Just let me add a few more. I still have Guns N' Roses on my playlist. I pick and choose carefully because some of it I do find toxic, you know, for sure, but some of it's just still really good. The occasional Megadeth song I listen to. Some music I really just don't like, you know. I just got to turn it off. You know, it's interesting.
I mean, for me, Guns N' Roses, I like some Guns N' Roses. I mean, Sweet Child of Mine, which you cover. I mean, Welcome to the Jungle, Slash's guitar work is excellent. I mean, that's one reason I think Slash is one of the best guitar players up there on my list. I did a Chili Pepper story, 2015, so Foo Fighters live, and who was in who was there? I bumped to Josh Salant.
Okay.
Too Fat, and the encore came out. Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers.
Oh, sweet.
So Chad Smith plays drums for the encore for Maggie May, which Dave wasn't singing. Twist of Fate, it was Taylor singing. Taylor Hawks.
Mm-hmm. Maggie May, the Rod Stewart song?
Yes. 2015. We were lucky because they had two shows at City Field. They had a Wednesday, Thursday show. Me and my brother went to the Wednesday show, and they did an encore. The Thursday, there was no encore, so we were lucky. And we got bonus with Chad Smith, and you're looking like, he's this tall. And he's playing drums, and Taylor's singing away, and Dave's got a special drum because he got his broken leg at the time. So it was, I would say, definitely the best concert I ever saw was Foo Fighters, 2015.
Yeah, I remember seeing you post about that night, and Chad Smith, I must like him a lot because I love drums. I love listening to drums, and I apparently listened to Chili Peppers the most a couple of years ago. That was the band I listened to the most, so I do like his drumming. It's not that diverse, I would say, but whatever you want to hear is what he does. He gives you what you want to hear. And he does it real well. And I would say Taylor Hawkins does that too, no doubt. I do like Dave Grohl's drumming for sure. The energy-wise, it's just, you can't beat it really for that type of music.
And he changed Nirvana too, you think about it, because he was not the original drummer for Nirvana. And when he came along, his backup vocals and his drum work, that was a missing ingredient for Nirvana to make it to the big. I mean, that was a key factor, Dave Grohl. I mean, you take his element, and think about what he's done. I mean, all his work, and that's why I think he's one of the best, like Jack White, him. There's a few artists like that, so, I mean, I'm happy I got to say, hey, I got to see Foo Fighters live. I would love to see him again and again, Foo Fighters, so.
All right. So Fernando Perdomo, Nick Scarboni says, is amazing, amazing guitarist, songwriter. Highly recommend you dig in. All right, Fernando Perdomo. So we got to check him out.
Okay.
Nick also says it's not actually Chad Smith. It's Will Ferrell. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that they look alike. I mean, they could pass. If they do it like a
It's
double.
Funny. It's funny. I know. I remember. I mean, I said that long before they did that funny skit together.
There's a few people you look at them like, okay, Dan Marino and David Hasselhoff. I mean, there's a few people like you could like they could pass for something like that. They could play, like that. There's a few people you look at like, yeah, they could pass.
Yeah, it happens. Looks like Deanna's a Foo Fighters fan too.
Rock on.
I have to say, I definitely would not have opened my mind to the Foo Fighters if it wasn't for you.
I definitely agree with that too.
I didn't like the Foo Fighters in high school. Well, I was still in high school when they came out. Monkey Wrench.
That was my one of my favorite songs, Monkey Wrench.
What the heck
this,
you know?
It was high energy. Like, this is good. This is good rock and roll.
I just didn't buy it, But anyway, you came along, it's 2008 or so when we started hanging out, and you played me the Pretender video.
Oh, one of the best songs ever.
By Foo Fighters.
Yes.
And I was just willing to see things differently, and they hit really hard. The Foo Fighters, like, definitely give them credit for. They're kind of like Red Hot Chili Peppers to me in the sense that they deliver what you're hoping they're gonna go. So they'll go in, then they'll go in a little deeper, then they'll go in even deeper, and then they'll hit the fourth level, which most bands stop at the third level. They go to the fourth level of intensity. I'm like, yes, thank you, because I wanted it to get more intense, and they do. A really great example of that is the song. Come Alive. Come alive, come alive, come alive. You know that song?
Yeah.
On Echoes, Stillness, and whatever it's called. That at the end of that song, check it out. It's really cool. And the drum fill is like.
I mean, times like these, low. I mean, they're so good, and they do great covers too. I mean, they covered Prince a couple months ago. They did the Prince tribute on CBS, and they covered and like they nailed it out of the ballpark. I mean, just covered that. And a couple years ago, I remember they did the Kennedy honors. They honored Led Zeppelin, and whew, they nailed it out of the ballpark. I mean, the Foo Fighters could do anybody. I mean, they did "Tie Your Mother Down," excellent cover version of Queen's classic song. I mean, they did years ago Mission Impossible 2. Did they have a cigar? That was a Pink Floyd cover, which they did. It was excellent. I mean, they do. They go out and they bring energy, and they bring energy more and more to it.
Yeah, that's what you gotta love them for.
And that's what's missing from music. I think the energy, and they bring it live, and they bring it all around, all their songs, and they're a great live band. Which, like I said, 2015, I did see it, so I'm happy. I would see them any time. They're one of the best bands in this era we got going right now. There's not that many good bands. Mm-hmm. They're one of the bands that like rock and roll.
Right. Deanna says she misses Prince. I missed Prince's show. Oh, so like you had an opportunity maybe to see him and you didn't see him?
It was really good. You
saw Prince live? Is that what you said?
It was a special tribute to Prince. It had Usher and John Legend, and it had the Sheila E., the drummer for Prince, and it was a really good show. And I think Prince is very good. I mean, as somebody who I think is one of our generation's best, he played drums, bass, guitar, songwriter. I mean, the songs that that he wrote, he gave to other artists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Manic Monday, the Bangles. Nothing compares to you, Sinead O'Connor. That's his song. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember a couple years ago, the Super Bowl, when he did the halftime show in the rain. It was epic.
Oh, yeah.
It was epic. And then a couple years later, Beyonce had him as a special guest. So, I mean, I miss Prince because his guitar work is great. And especially the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he got honored, and he played My Guitar Gently Weeps, which is the Beatles classic song with George Harrison, and he played the guitar part, and like, I'm like, wow, you blew me away, Prince, man. You took that guitar solo, which is great, and remember, in the live performance, you got Eric Clapton there too, and you got Tom Petty, and you got George Harrison's son, and you got Jeff Lynne, and he steals the show with his guitar work. I'm like, holy crap, unbelievable. I mean, Prince stole the show.
Wow. Yeah, I do remember at some point, I don't know, maybe late 90s or early, maybe, I realized Prince was a good guitarist. You know, I didn't know. I thought it was just this pop star who I couldn't get into. But anyway, I had a good friend, Amir, who was the saxophone player that I played with in Modus Tones and Pencil People. He was a Prince fanatic, and so I tried to open my mind to Prince thanks to him. I can't say I'm a Prince fan. I bought one CD, you know, at some point. But I appreciate him. Like you said, nothing compares to you. Yeah, he's quite a special songwriter, no doubt about that.
My favorite song is Let's Get Crazy, which he used for the NHL Stanley Cup. You know, like they use that song. It's a high energy song. I mean, of course, that's probably like 1999. When Doves Cry, by Kravitz. You know, I mean, all these classic songs. I mean, he was a stage presence, so I mean, his music still is on. I mean, there's still stuff coming out. I mean, there's so much music that we didn't even hear yet.
Yeah, yeah. So Nick Scarboni says that he met Usher at the airport, and his boss was always about getting famous people's pictures, and that one famous picture cost him about 20 dinners with the entourage. That's a pricey photo, man. Oh, jeez. So let me give you a question.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we're going to jump in with another question from Mr. Tom Scuderi. What aspect of your life, we're going to get a little philosophical here.
Okay.
What aspect of your life philosophy helps you to recover from setbacks when things don't go wrong or don't go right? And because you happen to be one of the most consistently upbeat guys I know. So what's your secret?
When we were in normal life, bowling is definitely a part of it.
Okay.
Bowling was a nice escape. I mean, I have about like 150 averages. I mean, the last time I bowled my best game ever. You know, my bowling journey has come a long way. I came all the way from hundreds to now. The last time I bowled, Friday the 13th, on March 13th, I bowled my best game ever, 235. And you one of the first people I call or anything with bowling, and bowling is my escape. I have my bowling shoes, my bowling ball, 12-pound ball, still going strong. And that game, I was in the zone. I was even trying for a 200 game. It was this middle game. I bowled at 168. Me and my partner Lou, we're bowling against the blind. Team's not there. We had to be a certain amount trying to win. So second game, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm making all these strikes and spares. And I look at the end. I said, 235 on the screen. I jumped, leap up and down, took a picture of that. I was like, cloud nine. Then the last game was like 162, but I had a great series, 565 scratch series. Scratch series, for some people don't know, but bowling is the 3 games combined. So 500 is very good. I mean, 400 is solid, but 500 is like next level, and 600 is like the level like above that. So 500 is very respectable. And I only did a couple times 500 series.
So 500 series means what?
It just means a different level. Like, you know, like 400 is like a solid for 3 games, but think about 500 for 3 games combined. That's pretty.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So the combined scores for 3 games?
Yeah, combined scores for 3 games.
Okay.
To get 500, it's very good. That's like bowling like level. Like, I mean, 300 is like okay, 400 it's solid, respectable. But if you go 500 above, that's the next level.
So the number one highest score you can get is 300 in bowling, or 250? For one game, what's the highest score possible?
300. It's a perfect game.
Perfect game, yeah.
That's all strikes. That's 12 strikes. That's not easy to do. I've done 5 strikes, but to get all those strikes, you got to get luck. You need a lot of the luck from the bowling guards. You need a lot of luck. The lane's got to be perfect. you got to be in the zone. I mean, sometimes I listen to music when I bowl. I mean, Foo Fighters, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. Get in the zone. Up tempo songs. You need fast tempo.
So it looks like Nick might have some good news. He says that they're remodeling the one in Mill Basin, and because they sent some pizzas over and they're open. So something to look forward to.
Oh, wow. That's my home way home.
Yeah.
I mean, I bowled there when it was Gil Hodges, Strike 10 Lanes, now Fun Fest.
Fun Fest it's called?
Yeah, Fun Fest. So bowling is definitely a big escape from me. Besides going to concerts, which has been dethroned right now. Big concert guy the last couple years. So numerous acts, a lot of singer-songwriters, which I enjoy. Like Najah Lewis, Erin Bowman, Natalie Gelman, of course Constantine Maroulis. They were all fantastic in different gigs in the city, which I've been to.
So basically, you would say, tell me if this is fair to sum it up, that one of the things that keeps you upbeat or keeps you from recovering from setbacks is just like continuing to just do the things that make you happy.
Yeah, I mean,
finding
also
time for that.
Also having pets too. I mean, pets are great too. I have a cat, Crazy Sylvester, 2-year-old cat, and my Maxwell Beagle, who's like 9. So pets are great because they're great affectionists. They let you know when they want attention, and they give you attention. Sometimes you have a hard day at work. It's not a hard day. And you get that affection, like feels really good. You just forget about everything. You're the center of attention, and sometimes they both are fighting over my attention. Sylvester and Maxwell, they want equal time from me, so they both get jealous of each other. So it's interesting seeing that point of view. Another thing, probably just try and do other stuff, make fun. Try to go to movies, go to book signings when we had book signings. Like I went to see Dennis Leary a couple times, one of the best comedians. I think this era, I saw him twice. Barnes & Noble, hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
Right.
Him and Allie Whitworth, she's married to George Stepping Up because for the from Good Morning America. And Allie she also did Living Color. And her and Dennis Leary get two highly talented comedians. You'll be laughing all night long, which is good. We always need humor. Just like I always say that I like your corny jokes, which some people in your family are not a big fan of those.
Corny? Excuse you.
I'm your biggest fan of your jokes.
You are, and your biggest supporter, too. You supply me with jokes.
I know, I do.
Just want to shout out to some people. It's been a minute since we've done that. Shout out to Linda Sheridan, Georges Giannopoulos, Max Christopher, Katrina Martinson in Norway. Hey, Katrina. Billy Salvador, another local musician, as is Max. Yeah, we got Nick saying that, I think Deanna said we got to go bowling together when COVID's over, and then Nick said we have to have a jam session first. And even if you don't play an instrument, we're going to hand you some maracas.
Okay. I'm down with bowling. I'm down with anything,
Or tambourine. Yeah. So, all right, let's see. So if you have a question for me.
Oh, yes, yes.
Start it.
Okay, what was your favorite gig that you played when you're in a group and when you're a solo artist?
My favorite gig I played when I was in a group and when I was in a solo
all
artist.
your group history. We're talking about level 6. We're talking pencil people, all your group history. What's your favorite gig, favorite place to play at? Maybe it had the best sound, just the,
yeah.
best memories,
Yeah, so just let me take a second and say this is why I'm writing an autobiography. I think a lot of artists would probably relate to the feeling, or musicians, creative types, who haven't had one steady job and like regular income, like in their whole life, like me. The many of us that exist out there. And sometimes, it comes to a point in my life, which I'm like, what have I accomplished? Like, what do I have to show for it? And, I know I've done a ton of very interesting things, but and I'm not going to just post pictures of myself all day long on social media. People don't care. But what is interesting about it is, I mean, maybe some people care a little bit, but, you know, the story behind it, right? That's what's fascinating. I'm just going on a side note here. There's a guy named Joseph Campbell, who's a philosopher and anthropologist, and he was a really famous anthropologist, philosopher who was basically famous for the concept of follow your bliss. He put out this notion, which is like, how do you become happy? How do you find the meaning of your life and do what you're meant to do on this planet? And his answer, a student asked him that, and his answer was follow your bliss. And we lost him a while ago, maybe 80s and 90s, maybe he died. Mm-hmm. But he was famous for putting out what's called the hero's journey. It's a concept. He wrote The Power of Myth. He wrote Hero with 1,000 Faces. And anyway, the hero's journey is a 3-step process. One, like, you're at the home, you're in the comfort of home and the familiar territory. That's his first step. Then 2, you leave the comfort of the nest of the home life and you go on your adventures and you slay the dragon and you fight the beast and you kind of overcome some hurdles. Essentially, you face yourself, your own inner demons, or maybe you get the golden fleece, right? And like the old Greek tale. And then the 3rd step is you come home and you tell the story of your adventure. And by doing that, you inspire the next generation of people to go on their own hero's journey. So that's why I want to write a story so much and tell my story and help people to tell their story, because that's really the meaning of life, is the hero's journey. You know, how many times can we take that hero's journey and complete it and then go tell the story? Because, you know, let's say I did get a lot of material possessions. What does anyone else care? They're not sharing in them. But they can share my story, right? They could share in your story. If you're a millionaire, why should people be happy? But if you're telling them a story that inspires them to live a more fruitful life, enjoyable life, and help inspire others, then they care about your story, you know? Not to say being a millionaire is wrong or something like that, but the power of the story is really the crux. So, with that being said, I forgot so much of my past, right? And as I'm writing my autobiography, I'm going year by year, discovering, oh shoot, Modus Tollens did all these gigs, and, you know, trying to, kind of like an excavator, dig in the ground for finding like old flyers or whatever. Like, oh man, I played a lot at this place, or I played all these shows. Oh, I played all those shows. I forgot. So I have very little memory of any specific show. Mm-hmm. Besides the Starland Ballroom in New Jersey when we opened up for the Misfits in Level 6, because that was probably the biggest venue I played at. So I remember that kind of. But anything else I don't really remember except for like regular venues I played at. So I'll say the Elbow Room, which came up earlier when Nick was asking me about Modus Tollens. The Elbow Room was a great venue. I played a lot of great shows with Modus Tollens there, with District 22, which is another band that followed Modus Tollens. Great sound, big stage. They were pretty lenient about letting underage people in, probably. Not that lenient, but and then you'd actually get paid there. Wouldn't pay much, but something. And they would give you a good recording of the night. So I have a few shows from the Elbow Room that, to this day, that actually sound good, which I maybe release one day. I don't know. So Elbow Room was one of my favorite places to play. And then Nick saying he thinks he might have saw me do an acoustic show solo in Park Slope. That's funny. So Nick has said a few comments. I'll get to your comments in a second, Nick. So I'm sure I played a few shows at Park Slope. I remember doing Bar 4. I think it was called Bar 4. What's that? I forget what avenue that is. There's 15th Street and 4th Avenue, 5th Avenue, something like that. Not 4th Avenue. Yeah, maybe 7th Avenue. I think it was called Bar 4. Anyway, I did open mics there. I didn't do like my own solo show. I played My regular haunts as a solo performer were Bar B in on Allen Street in the Village, not that far from that Nolita near Houston. Then I think after I put out Brooklyn Folk, my first album, I did about 5 months of gigs at Bar B pretty much every week, weekly gigs. Somehow they had me every week. I don't think they ever paid me. I think I did collect tips, so that was cool. And I did sell some some CDs at that time. And then the other regular gig was Wicked Monk. That could have been what you're thinking about, Nick. Wicked Monk was in Bay Ridge. I played solo gigs there, similar, for about a half a year, somewhere within a half a year after releasing my first album, like every week or something. Learned a lot. It was tiring, super tiring. And that's why I didn't keep on doing that. And then Nick mentions that in one lifetime, I've grown 2 ponytails. That in itself is impressive. Thank you, Nick. Actually, yeah, this is number 3. This is the 3rd ponytail I've grown this lifetime. Yep. I chopped it off twice. Yeah, and I might do it again. I might cut it all off and then grow it back in a couple of years.
The evolution of John Henry's hair.
Yeah, I'll see how many times. I'm going for at least 5 ponytails in one lifetime.
I mean, the first
Can
time
I do it?
You could probably do it. I mean, the first time I met you had short hair. Then the second time I reconnected years later in the B3 bus, you had long hair. I was like, wow.
Right.
It was like shocking. It was a couple years later.
Right, yeah. Yeah, my hair grows fairly fast, so I'm fortunate that way.
You're blessed with good hair, too. I have to say that.
Arigato. Thank you. So I don't know if I quite answered that, but
yeah.
One standout gig was I played at a bar in Farsund, Norway, when my cousins were supporting that, and there's this really cool elevated, like, second floor stage thing, and I played a Billy Joel song, You May Be Right, and they wanted me to do an encore. At the end of the night, they said, play it again. They played the same song again.
Wow.
That was funny. Yeah.
I got a gig for you. I was actually, you invited me to go. The Rock Asylum. At the Cutting Room. This is one of the first performances at the Cutting Room, too.
Of that new Cutting Room, because they moved locations at that time. Right.
It was one of the first ones. It was
2013, June 2013.
It was awesome. You performed there, and Paulie was great, and the late David Z. And Yoko was there. Your mom was there. All these different kids from the schools. It was, I would say, it was an awesome time. It was nice. It was daytime too. It was daytime.
Right. Because the kids from the school came, right? So.
Yeah, I met you in the city. I took the train there, and you gave me a lift home, and it was a great experience. It was great. The kids singing, and Paulie doing his thing, and David doing his thing. Being the bass player he is, and you doing your singing.
Yeah, that was a very special gig, very memorable. Rock Asylum was a nonprofit organization run by Paulie Z, a good friend of mine, which was basically about creating rock songs for young people to learn musical subjects. Learn subjects through music, like American history, like math, like essay writing, all sorts of cool stuff, by writing a rock song about it with the kids. It was a really great thing that lasted for a while. Yeah, Nick must have missed one of my ponytails. Yeah, a whole group of years there.
Oh, there's plenty.
Yeah, but there's pictures, don't worry.
Yeah, there's plenty. We got plenty of pictures.
Yeah, and then he also says, if you get an encore of the same song, you got to change the lyrics a second time.
Ah.
Yeah. One song you could do that with is "Don't Cry," right? Because there's the 2 versions of "Don't Cry." You know that? There's 2 alternate lyric versions of "Don't Cry."
Okay.
Guns N' Roses, yeah. On Use Your Illusions 1, that's the popular one people know.
Okay.
But then there's also "Don't Cry" on Use Your Illusions 2, which has different lyrics.
You mentioned Guns N' Roses. We were talking beforehand. You're picking me up, and they had the top rock songs in the month of July played. And surprised in my note, November Rain was number 1. Out of all these rock songs played for this month of July, November Rain was number 1.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. Again, I asked you before, is it America or worldwide? We don't know,
think it was.
right?
I
But
think
maybe
it was
America.
Maybe America, but just think about November Rain. I mean, it's a great song. I mean, it's like ballad rock. You know, the piano part's really good with Axl, and you got Slash with his heavy guitar solo. But I would not think another song I would go with. I mean, I'm more
Right.
Sweet Child of Mine or Welcome to Paradise City or Welcome to Jungle. You know, those are like the songs I would take. You know, over November Rain was good, but it's not. I would not think it's like the top rock song for the month of July. I mean,
Yeah, it tells you what kind of a different July we have, right? If
I
you're
know.
outside partying and barbecues, those other songs that you mentioned would be appropriate. But if you're indoors and you have a little more patience than usual, you can go for the longer, slightly more somber song like November Rain. It's my theory anyway. Shout out to Lonnie Friedland who joined. I'd like to have Lonnie on the show soon. He expressed interest, and he's on my short list of the upcoming guests. So, Lonnie Friedland, if you're listening, hope you're getting ready to be called. Your number is coming. So Tom is episode number 4. He likes the number 4.
it's a good number. I like
Yeah.
4. I think it was a good number.
Mhm.
4 is better than 3.
But 3 is like triangle. It's like the Pyramid Man.
I mean, Babe Ruth for number 3. I mean, Yankee great. I mean, I'm a Met fan, but I'll give credits due. But I like 4. I think I work that as a 4.
So let me come back to the AC/DC question for a second.
Yeah.
So you asked me if I prefer Brian Johnson or Bon Scott, right? It's pretty tricky. It might be 50-50.
That's fine,
And
too.
that's so rare. I think that for like, their situation's very rare to actually have a great singer that passes away, is lost, and then to replace it with an equally great singer. And very few people dispute that. Some people say, yeah, Bon Scott's the best because he's the original, whatever. But I think most people really think Brian Johnson's great. You know, most AC/DC fans would agree. So it's such a rare thing that you could replace a singer with someone that is, you know, I don't know if equally amazing is fair to say, but equally appropriate, you know, for sure. And I also, part of it was Brian was very respectful of Bon Scott.
Yeah.
You know, he approached it with that humility, like he knows he's filling in big shoes, and and his voice was razor blades, like Bon's voice was kind of razor blades too, you know. Such amazing.
Brian had the high energy and the vocals, and you could sense it when he vocals. He gets right up there. I mean, actually, one of my favorite songs is a song that everybody knows about, Big Gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's from the soundtrack for Last Action Hero. I mean, it was a stinking movie, bad movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a bad movie.
Oh yeah, I remember
Soundtrack was good. That was one of the original songs. I had a lot of
Wow.
good people on. Al Smith was in it, Alice in Chains. But AC/DC had a nice original song called Big Gun, which is actually one of my favorite songs. Besides, everybody knows about, you know, Back in Black, Shook Me Up All Night Long. You know, I mean, Bond was, you know, Highway to Hell,
Mm-hmm.
Whole Lotta Rosa. You know, I mean, you know, everybody knows TNT. You know, Money Talks. I mean, they got a whole catalog of library songs, AC/DC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they're great. I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah, they are a band that, when I was younger, collecting cassettes, I had probably as many as 12 AC/DC albums on cassette, which was great because they were a little less expensive than the other ones for whatever reason. So also Aerosmith, I had a good 10 or 12 Aerosmith cassettes. And I love both bands. I don't love. Let's say I really like both bands.
I like
I wouldn't
Aerosmith, too.
exactly. I don't know if I love them. Because there's like one flavor, you know. Not really. AC/DC is almost a one-trick pony, maybe a three-trick pony. It doesn't have too many tricks, but it does them super well, and it gives you exactly what you're hoping for. They're really electric, you know. Aerosmith, I would say more like a 5-trick pony. They go a bit more diverse, but pretty much there's a flavor you're gonna get, you know. in my experience, I've listened to a whole lot of Aerosmith.
I mean, Permanent Vacation is really good. Pump. I mean, Pump with Jamie's Got a Gun. I mean, Permanent Vacation's got good songs too. But I mean, they did the ballad songs, you know, really good. I mean, a lot of people know the later I Don't Miss a Thing and you know stuff like that. That was some Armageddon. I Don't Miss a Thing. You know, that was that's not a typical Aerosmith song because it was written by Diane Warner. Diane Warner is one of those legendary.
Diane Warren.
Warren, yeah. Songwriters who done a lot of Celine Dion and other artists like that. And the Aerosmith's unusual, you know, but it was a big hit song, but it was not that typical, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I like Aerosmith and the Bad Boys of Boston. I mean, Steven Tyler, his vocals are very good, and Joe Perry's guitar work is like awesome. I mean, one of my favorite songs I think is "Living on the Edge." I mean, the video with him, you know, the train, he's playing the guitar, like with the trains coming, like that's awesome.
That's cool.
I mean, I mean, Joe Perry, he's up there for guitar. I mean, he gets maybe a little overlooked, a little bit, but he's definitely a big part of Aerosmith. I mean, it's no Joe Perry, there's no Aerosmith, in my opinion. It's like Slash. I mean, with Guns N' Roses, you know, Axl took, you know, Guns N' Roses without Slash, you know, but for me, it's like no Slash. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you.
Yeah. You brought up a few different points. One thing I would say, yeah, I like Joe Perry, but he never had nearly the influence on me that someone like Slash did. And I don't want to take away from him, but he's just a different type of play. He delivers in a different way. So, like, from my brain, his solos were never so memorable. I think most people would agree. His solos are not memorable, certainly not in the way a Slash solo is or some other lead guitarist. You can't really sing them. They're not really singable. They're a different approach. And not to say they're not memorable, but they're harder to remember because they're not singable, because the brain works in melodies. So we like things we can sing back.
Yeah.
It's hard to sing a Joe Perry solo back. There are some examples I'm sure someone can mention, but that's been my experience. But Slash's solos, you could sing them, many of them, not all. So that's why it's more memorable. Also, speaking of the Slash, AC/DC line, right?
Yeah.
You got Bon Scott, Brian Johnson, and then when Brian needed to take a break, they asked Axl Rose to come in.
Yes.
And who would have thought there would be another human being on the planet who could actually simulate the AC/DC vocal style? And I wouldn't have thought about it, but when I heard, I'm like, yes, that works. And amazingly, Axl said yes. That's the amazing part. So, and it wasn't quite as satisfying as I hoped because Axl's seemed a bit tired or whatever. His voice couldn't quite do what he used to be able to do. But hearing him sing a whole lot of Rosie was a lot of fun. And if it was done in the studio, I'm sure it'd be really enjoyable. Because a whole lot of Rosie is one of AC/DC's best songs, I think.
Yeah.
It's because it's got an F chord. You know, it's got an A minor or an A and an F. It's one of the few songs that actually do that harmonic combination. It's really satisfying. So we're coming up on 2 hours. I still have a little energy.
We got more. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We got some more.
We're gonna go on. I got free time, so we're good.
All right, cool. So I do want to give you a chance to talk about some of the various stars you've met.
Oh yes.
So Tom has had the I would say good fortune, but I really think it's more the audacity and tenacity to meet many people that have inspired him and celebrities. So he'll find out where they are and he'll go see their show and he will make it a point to take a picture with them.
It's a goal. It's a goal. If they get a picture, that's the icing in the cake. I mean, I've been to concerts and some great places I've never even heard about. I went to what do you call it? Now I'm drawing a blank right now. When I saw Constantine Maroulis, Berlin. That's it, Berlin Jazz Club. Now, Berlin Jazz Club is a legendary club. It's been around for a long time, but I saw him upstairs. It was back in March 9th this year, before we had the lockdown. and he was awesome. And then I saw him downstairs back in September. He did downstairs first because they just made it downstairs to Berlin. So they have upstairs and downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Constantine afterwards, would you like better? What sound-wise? He said downstairs was better than upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
That was shocking to my ears.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you never know. You never know. So can you show us a picture of yourself with Constantine?
Oh, yes. We do have a picture with Constantine. Actually, I had to thank you because I wouldn't met Constantine without me and you led to Paulie Z with the cutting room. Because Paulie's good friends with Constantine. Remember, because Constantine did an episode of Z-Rock, which we watched together.
Oh, well.
The last episode when John Papa kidnapped him.
Oh, okay.
Remember, I used to come to your house. We used to watch the Z-Rock. I used to tape it on IFC. We were cracking up with all the stuff the boys would do.
Oh, yeah. Z-Rock. What a comedic show. All right. So Constantine Maroulis is a popular singer and
actor,
actor.
songwriter. You've seen that's a picture with a picture with a picture with a picture. Now, I'll just try to explain. A picture is when you get a picture with somebody and you want to do it again, and you keep going on. You could go a nice theme, so it's nice. You have the memory for the next time. Because one person you have a picture, but they don't see the picture again. But if you have to copy the picture, you give them a copy of the picture, he or she, and then you're like, I remember that gig.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And you give them a copy and you do it again and again. We keep going on and on. It's
That's
nonstop.
cool. No, that's cool. And I see your friend Marcelo was in that picture too, right?
Yes. And
Yep.
it was a great time. The cutting room. Constantine's great. I mean, he did Welcome to the Jungle, nailed Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah. Very few people can nail Axl.
Oh, he does it.
He does it. He really does.
I saw him do Cry, Aerosmith.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a song that's similar to for his solo album coming out, Constantine, and he's fantastic what he does. And thanks to Paulie, I met Constantine. I've been following the Berlin Jazz Club. I saw him at the all these other places. I saw him in the city. It was fantastic, and he's awesome. I mean, I highly recommend check him out. He's great. He's a cool cat. He actually wished me a happy birthday on my birthday on camera.
Nice.
It was like one of the best gifts ever, because it was a hard birthday lockdown. But him, wishing me a happy birthday, and it's like a picture with a picture, and it's like he's like, you don't only do to go to my concerts, it's old ladies,
That's great, man.
He was great.
Deanna says that's so cool, and Nick says amazing. It's a fractal and a fractal. Yeah, it's right. It's pretty.
And his
like the infinite mirrors thing. So here's Paulie Z, and can you just tell us a little bit about Paulie Z and how you found out about him and kind of how?
I found it from you because the first time I met Paulie Z was at Human Yoko's wedding, and then Rock Asylum, and then he did the cutting room trip for his brother, and we actually saw ZO2.
Well, you met him from me, but you were
Yeah.
aware of him from the
Yeah.
ZO2 show, right?
Yeah, but we met
The
him
Z-Rock show.
backstage at the ZO2. It was at the Irving Plaza. Yoko went, you, me. We had a great time. Joey was great, and Dave and Dean Schneider was there because the Dean Schneider did a guest appearance on ZO2. And Gilbert Gottfried, it was awesome. It was so great. It was like the first rock concert I went to.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think it was really good. Paulie Z is always great. I mean, he's a good friend of yours, and every time he puts on his show at the cutting room, it's epic and awesome. I mean, how he gets all these people to come out and these lineups, like you playing with this person.
Yeah.
I mean, one time he's playing guitar, Constantine singing, and like that's awesome. I mean, it was great, and I owe Paulie everything. He's a cool guy, and I always support him. And anytime he comes back to New York, in the cutting room, that's a place to go to. And I met so many artists from the cutting room because of him.
Yeah. We recently had a David Z Foundation fundraiser, which Paulie Z spearheaded, and attracted so many amazing celebrity guests, as well as, of course, the kids in the program. And Constantine was one of them, and he sang. Do you remember what song he sang?
I think it was Cry, Faint Hills Cry, I think.
Yeah, he did that, and he might have done a second one.
Yeah.
But his voice is. My wife was in the other room doing something, and she heard that his voice. She ran from the other room. Who is that? because his voice just really
she's
stands
like
out.
the pictures I showed. It's like, oh, Constantine.
Right, yeah. A good voice is a good voice.
And he's very talented. So Constantine's awesome. Paulie's great. I mean, he's a very good guitar player, Paulie. I mean, excellent.
Right, yeah.
I mean, live. I mean, he did Led Zeppelin. Like my friend Nick, like, wow. You know, like we were talking like afterwards, like it was like epic. So he's one of the hardest working guys, and definitely should be a future guest in this show. It'll be epic.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, epic. And we got
so who else you gonna tell us about who you met?
we got to Joey.
Since we're in the same theme of the Z crew, Z crowd, the Z related crowd anyway. We got Joey Cassata.
One of the best drummers out there in the planet. Cool guy, big wrestling fan. He's a great guy, and he's always good with the cutting room. I mean, he's a really good drummer, and he's a nice guy to talk to. And you could talk sports with him, talk wrestling with him. He's a very kind human being, and you could talk for hours with Joey.
Yeah, no, Joey's very cool. I didn't really get to know him until recently, the past few years, although I ran into him many times supporting ZO2. He was the drummer of ZO2, and I was inspired by his autobiography, which he put out. It really helped me to determine to write my own autobiography, especially that we went to the same elementary school, which is so interesting. The same Catholic school. I was like,
that's really interesting.
Like, wow,
strange but true facts.
Like I almost felt like I'm reading my own. The beginning of his book, I felt like it's my story in a way. So I'm like, yeah, I could begin to see how my story could be formulated. You know, it's going to be quite a different story than his, but he inspired me to want to get started on my autobiography. And he has a great voice too. I don't think too many people know.
Yeah.
So he's done stuff one of his favorite, my favorite ZO2 songs was a song that he sang called "I Will Be All Right." So who else we got to show everyone?
We got Militia Vox.
What's her name?
Militia Vox. I'm out butchering her on Vox.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forget her name too. She does the Judas Priest female.
Oh, yes. And she's part of the cutting room, and she did Chris Cornell last time I saw her.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Killer voice.
Killer voice. She steals it. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's a showman right to the top.
Picture. That's my boys Nick and Marcelo right there. That's her picture with a picture, and she loved the picture with a picture. It's like, oh man, that's so cool. So I'm showing some love there. She's really talented. You go see her anytime she's live. You go see her.
Michaela Fox, you think?
Yeah, Vox. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Shannon Cooler.
Shannon Cooler.
Yeah.
And who is she?
She was part of the cutting room also with Paulie. She plays a mean harmonica, and she can sing too.
Okay.
So harmonica player.
Deanna says she knows the Michaela.
Yeah.
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 And who's this one?
Shannon.
And Shannon is a mean harmonica player and also
she's a vocalist, and she jammed with Constantine when the
part of the Z crowd.
Yeah, she's always there. So she goes plays the harmonica, and sings also, and she does great Led Zeppelin. Highly recommend it. Her vocals are really good, and because it's hard to write playing Led Zeppelin. I mean, you gotta have the vocals to do it. I mean, powerful vocals, she could do it. With justice. I'm speaking.
I think I heard. Yeah, I think I remember that.
I can speak for. This one is another one. Carla, she's fantastic. Another one. She's like awesome. She does Broadway stuff in Florida. She loved the picture with a picture. She is so cool. I mean, she did Alice McCry.
Oh yeah.
And the last time I saw the cutting room, that was back in March 2nd.
What's her name?
Carla starts with B last name.
Carla B.
Yeah.
Yeah, great voice, right?
Yeah, she did one of the last songs for the cutting room. It was back in March 2nd this year. And she did Alice McCry, and she did heck of a job. Heck of a job. She was like a little nervous because she had to wait so long to perform because you know the list is like this long, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I got there midway through because I was going to a wrestling event the same night. And I'm happy I left the wrestling event at the Barker Center to go see Paulie Z and Constantine there. But I left it. I I was happy I left. I mean, I got to see rock and roll, so
Oh yeah.
it was best of both worlds. Like a little wrestling and go right to the cutting room and get the end. And I didn't miss that much. I mean, I got there and it was over after 11:30, 12 o'clock. So it was great time. We got some other people we got to show some love for.
If you have any questions for Tom while we're here, let us know.
Here's David Cook from American Idol fame.
Okay, a singer, I guess, right?
Yes.
David Cook from American Idol fame, singer, that Tom got a snapshot with.
It's a picture with a picture. I got him in the city. He performed solo. He had a cast. He fell down, so he couldn't really play acoustic guitar. It was an acoustic guitar set, and he was awesome. He did Phil Collins, excellent cover, and he was great, and he was a cool guy, and he's really talented guy. So he's definitely a good singer-songwriter guy to appreciate. So one of the few people that I would definitely I'm happy I met from American Idol fame, alumni. So
Nice.
he was cool.
Cool. What's his name again?
David Cook.
David Cook.
David Cook.
All right, check him out.
We got let's see. All right, here we go. Erin Bowman.
Okay, Erin Bowman is a singer-songwriter,
Songwriter.
right? Who Tom mentioned to me a few times, so apparently he's a fan.
I have a picture of the picture, and first time I met her was at the Build web series, and she just did Good Morning America, and she was more pop first. She changed her genre. She was very popish, and then I met her a few years later at the Rockwood Music Hall, which we saw actually Paulie Z there one time.
I remember that.
Yeah. And she was fantastic at the music hall. That was back in October 2019. And I saw her back in January at Arlene's Grocery. And she's on Instagram. She did her quarantines and cocktails, which there's one reason why I inspired you to do your stuff, because I said she was doing jams, music. So I was like, you got to do your music, you got to let people hear your music. So she's a very good singer-songwriter. She does cover one of my favorite songs of all time, Tom Petty's Free Falling. Hits it right here. When she hit it, like, soft spot for that one. And her songs are fantastic. Spilled Milk, Something to Say. She is very highly recommended. Check her on Spotify. Check her on YouTube. She's got a new album coming out. She's from Jersey, and she went back to England to work on a new album. But her album, Part 101, is excellent. So she's I would say, one of these up-and-coming female singer-songwriters and overall singer-songwriters. You definitely have to go check her out when she's back in the city.
Nice.
And then we got
So this is why this show is called One Man Street Team. So there are a bunch of artists that are getting free publicity right now just because Tom is a passionate guy about the artists that he loves and supports.
And here's Najah Lewis. Najah Lewis, she did American Idol. She got eliminated Hollywood Week. She performed the W Hotel and the Moxie Hotel in the city. And her performances are free, and she has this great energy, great covers, great original songs, plays acoustic guitar by herself. And when she sees me...
Najah Lewis.
And when she sees me come out with the guys, she has this big energy. So she knows, like, she's so happy to see us because we bring this great energy that, like, we support her music. We're not just there just to hang out. We're here to enjoy her music and, show her some love and give her some good vibes. And she's very, very talented, Najah Lewis. And she's doing her message thing right now because she performs at the hotels. And we can't see her right now. So the W Hotel, the Moxie Hotel. If everything goes back to normal, go check her out. She's a good singer-songwriter. You won't make a mistake. You won't regret it. She's well worth it. We got my friend Maritza Lord, a local artist. She does a song called Coney Island. Excellent original song. Highly recommend on YouTube. Check her out. I saw it. This is from Atlantic Avenue train station in downtown Brooklyn. Every time I see her perform, I have to stop and watch her perform, and she's fantastic. I mean, she does great covers. Don Lewis, Always Forever, The Outfield, Your Love and Hotel California, the Eagles.
Maritza Lord.
Yeah, she's well worth it. She performed my friend Tom T's birthday last year, and everybody was like, wow. And it was great. It was a great jam. She did Frank Sinatra, Billy Joe, her original stuff. So she's really
I'll try to get all the names that you're mentioning to put in the show notes because some people might want to find out about these artists later on.
We got Katharine McPhee from American Idol fame.
Captain McBee.
Kathleen McPhee.
Kathleen
McPhee.
McBee.
Yeah. From American Idol fame, from Scorpion, from the TV show Scorpion. This is, Waitress, the Broadway show Waitress. I saw her. She was fantastic. I also got to see her with Stella Bareilles. Now, some people ask me, who you like better? I have to give it a tie because they're both fantastic. Excellent. Another show I saw is Kinky Boots with the highly talented Renaissance man Wayne Brady. Excellent Wayne Brady. I mean, singer, actor, dancer, talk show host, game show host. He does it all, Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady?
Yep.
All right, Wayne Brady does it all. Check him out, Mr. Wayne Brady.
And also for Kinky Boots, there was Kirstin from Pentatonix. She is fantastic. I mean, Yoko, when I saw the picture of the Yoko, she's like,
Yeah.
I saw Kinky Boots twice, so that's a picture with a picture, and from Pentatonix, she's the only female vocalist in that acapella group.
The female vocalist in the pop huge acapella group Pentatonix.
Excellent. Highly recommend it.
What's her name again?
Kirstin. I know her first name, Kirstin.
Okay, yeah. Kirstin from Pentatonix.
Yeah, you look at Pentatonix, you spot her right there. She's very talented.
Yeah, super voice.
And I don't have a picture of Natalie Gelman, who's the reason why I encourage you to do the song, the show, Facebook, because Natalie Gelman was the last person I saw for this lockdown. That was March 10th at the Rockwood Music Hall. And she was fantastic. And now I became a big fan of hers, doing songs called The Lion and Better Days and The Reckoning. And she's a very good singer-songwriter. She's from Staten Island. She lives in California now, but she came back to New York to do the Rockwood Music Hall. And I became a fan, and ever since she does her Facebook shows on Sundays and Fridays, I was like, wow. So I'm a big, huge fan of her, Natalie Gelman, and I highly recommend it. If she comes back in the city when this whole thing is back to normal, go catch her out. Go check her out.
Yeah, Natalie Gelman. But they don't have to wait for that. They could just watch her on Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
What days is she on?
Friday nights, 8 o'clock New York time. It's 3 hour difference in California time. And Sundays is about 4 o'clock New York time, so 1 o'clock California time.
Natalie Gelman.
Yeah.
So I'm promoting these people because I trust Tom, and that's the type of relationship we have. So if he gives me the thumbs up, like check him out, then I say, yeah, give him a listen, give him a chance. Maybe you like him, and he's all about supporting up and coming artists, people who are trying, as well as the big ones too. Like, of course, you love the big names, but
yeah, of course. Big names. I mean, I met like I said, Stella Bareilles. I met Megan Trainor. It was at a Barnes & Noble CD album release that was back in January. So I had back-to-back days at Barnes & Noble. First was Megan Trainor. Really nice. It was pictures done professionally. So they give you a special code afterwards. Then you download it and you have your picture there. So it moved pretty fast. Then the second one was Jessica Simpson. And she wrote an autobiography.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she about her struggles, with alcohol and stuff like that, and rejections and stuff like that, and weight problems, and she was really nice. It was a few seconds, but her thing was even more crowded than Megatrain. That was in Union Square, Barnes & Noble. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I was there for a couple hours. I mean, I pre-registered already, so I was going to get my picture taken no matter what, but it was well worth it. She was really nice. I'm happy I got to meet Jessica Simpson. I respect her as a very good singer, good vocalist.
I don't know too much about her. Megan Trainor, I didn't know much about either until I went to the ASCAP Expo 2018, and she was there and giving live talks. So I caught a few talks. We were in the same room. I didn't get to meet her, but I got to hear some of her activities and the way she thinks, and it was cool.
And she's a good vocalist. She writes her own stuff. So like a lot of these artists, like Constantine, like Najah Lewis, Natalie Gelman, Maritza Lord, Erin Bowman, these are good, very good singer-songwriters, which you're also a very good singer-songwriter too. So these are all fit the same genre, as singer-songwriters. As you mentioned earlier, what category would you'd be into? So
Yeah, it's good to know about peers, right? Good to know about, I don't want to say like the competition, because I really don't feel like I'm competing with anybody.
No competition. It's everybody trying to get the same thing.
We're all just trying to give our gifts, right? And be supported in doing so. That's it,
But also, especially when you're a singer-songwriter, you telling something. You're giving your heart and soul and your energy, and you can relate to that. Somebody can relate to you. You're writing your own stuff, which is also good too, because you're not relying on somebody else to write your stuff. You're writing your own material, which is really good. It's also a good way, money-wise too, because the copyright stuff like that too.
Nick is telling us a story here. So Nick says that I met Jessica Simpson too. I wasn't going to bother her, but my pizza man was a big fan and pleaded with me to get a picture of them. I walked up to her in the middle of the airport, and as I'm talking to her, her dad started walking over, a little concerning. Fortunately, he read the room well, and my man got to take a picture. Yeah, I get it, man. I get both sides. Of course, you're just doing your thing, as a... In your case, maybe, Nick, you weren't the fan, but you were doing it for your friend who was a fan, and the dad is probably protective because someone, for your daughter's in the spotlight like that, you never know who's going to approach her, right? So, yeah. So I don't like the fame and fortune bit of celebrity. Many things I don't like about it.
Yeah,
but.
There's a time.
It's a part of it.
It's a time and place, and you have to ask nicely. And sometimes you get lucky, sometimes not lucky. And the best bets, if you go see the concert, there's a good chance. You're paying for the artist, and you have a good shot getting a book signing or whatever, a Q&A. I mean, I also met Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20, and he was very good. That was a Q&A Bill Webb series, and he was doing a solo album coming up from Matchbox 20. And he took a picture of everybody. He was very cool. We waited outside, build series, and just standing outside. He was smoking a cigarette, and just took a picture of everybody. He signed my CD from first album from Matchbox 20. And it was really cool. He was very humble, very nice, class act.
So just so you know, Deanna said Tom is an awesome dude. Tom is awesome. A few times she's let us know that Tom is
thank you,
super cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I met so many people. I mean, but music is a big part of it. So, I mean, Julian Lennon I met too. That was a Build Web series. I mean, it was cool. Got a picture real quick. That's really nice. This is a nice list. I mean, thankfully, the cutting room's a good spot. I mean, that's a good place to get a whole bunch of people. I mean, Paulie knows everybody. Yeah, so it's a great place. The cutting room's a good place. The Rockwood Music Hall is a good place. The Berlin Jazz Club. Jazz Club is really good. I mean, all types of music. But I saw Diane and Ace Young from American Idol fame. Now, they didn't meet each other from American Idol. They met each other when they did Hairspray together on Broadway. So I met them together. That was in the Berlin Jazz Club. That was upstairs. So I saw Constantine in September. October of 2019 was them, and they were really cool. I took a picture with them. They're really nice. Ace got the rock and roll, voice, and Diana's more of a country, R&B, pop. They blended very good together. They blended music very good. Nice couple, and I'm happy I got to meet them. I'm cross them on the list. I mean, there's still people I want to see, but those are the ones I'm happy I saw.
So, let's see. Deanna says she met Rob Thomas too, and that his eyes are super blue. Is that true?
Yeah. He's a good guy. I mean, it was the Build series. It's a free Q&A, celebrities, music, actors, actresses, famous people, and it's a free website. You sign up, and you just have to bring the piece of paper or show them your ticket, download it, and it's a great thing. That's how I met so many people. I met Dennis Leary there. I met Nick Cannon there. I met Maria Menounos. I mean, I met so many people from the Build web series. I mean, it is well worth it. I mean, that's a good thing for the city. I mean, for a venture, you know, to go when everything goes up in that Build. Recommend check your local artists, and you may get lucky. You may get a picture of them. Sometimes you may get lucky. Sometimes you may not get lucky. Right. You don't know if you don't try.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing about Tom, about you, is that you are not afraid to try for things that are important to you. And I've never been able to approach celebrities like that for whatever reason. I guess I didn't want to, maybe, but I know what it takes, that extra bit of effort for sure.
I mean, with Sally Bareilles, I was nervous. I mean, I was 0 for 3 meeting her. I missed the 4th time. It was a charm.
Wow.
I mean, I tried meeting her after Waitress. She didn't come out. 92nd and Y had about Waitress, about the females. All it was behind the scene people, all of women in the show on Waitress. We're on spot, no picture taken.
Mm-hmm.
3rd time was back at the Paley Center. Nice place to recommend too for all media stuff about. It was about the Jesus Christ Superstar. It was press junkie. It was John Legend, her, and rock icon Alice Cooper, because he was in there too. So they're in the NBC show from a year ago, live. Jesus Christ Superstar, and Sal Rose was there, and no luck there. The 4th time I was a charm. It was at just before my birthday, 2019, at the New York Times building. Concert was sold out. Waited outside. Me and 2 other people out there. Sal Rose comes out. I have a book. She wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
So she signed the book. I was so nervous. We got the selfie take, and I was in cloud 9 because Sal Rose is one of my favorite singers, and I got to meet her. So I was like, yeah.
So was that was the book autobiography or something else?
Yeah, it was her journey, to making it. Another.
Sorry, we got some questions.
Yeah.
Nick is wondering if we all live in the same neighborhood. My guess is yes, Nick. If you see Tom, then we live relatively close.
Mel Basin in the house. That's where I
Mel
live.
Basin in the house. Marine Park in the house here. Brooklyn, that is.
Yes.
And was there any celebrity that declined a photo?
Yes.
Probably a few.
Oh, I got a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, he said no?
No, he didn't. He went to a restaurant. Here's the story. My mom and my friend Lisa, we got shut out with The View. They overbooked. We will see The View, which is in ABC Studios. So we had to wait for Accessoride. So I'm going to the hot dog stand, getting the hot dogs. Who I see over there by Smith's Restaurant, it's, Spencer Restaurant, Samuel L. Jackson. He's talking golf. We know he's a big golf fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's dressed like in golf, so very respectful. Don't interrupt Samuel L. Jackson. He's gonna curse me out. He's Samuel L. Jackson.
He's in The Matrix, right? Was that him?
No, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Pulp
Fiction.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Die Hard 3: Revenge.
Yeah, he's a badass guy, right?
Yeah, yes.
Nick Fury, right?
Yeah, Nick Fury. So I wait till after he finishes. I said, Sam, can I get a picture? Yeah, I asked him very nicely. Right to the restaurant, Smith's Restaurant. That's it. So I was being very polite. I mean, he's on the phone talking golf. I mean, you can hear him talking golf. So I'm like, I'm not interrupting him. I'm waiting till he finished the conversation. So I'm not like other people trying to interrupt him. But I'm like, I've been trying to, show respect. I'm like, he's Samuel L. Jackson,
Well, maybe he's having a rough day. I don't know.
Another person I didn't get a picture of. I was disappointed. It was Tony Danza. Okay, now I went to Build. I bought his book because he was a teacher for a year. He did that. Took time off to be a teacher, a professor. So he signs the book, and I didn't get the picture. I was so disappointed. Always wanted a picture of an autograph signing. So there's been a few people, but mostly positive. Sometimes I look at it this way. If it doesn't happen the first time, like Sal Bareilles, look, it took the fourth time to get Sal Bareilles. So sometimes it's not meant to be that time. Maybe it's another time near us. Now, I got lucky. Here's another singer I forgot to mention for female, Colby Collette. I saw her at Irving Plaza. It was her and her band. Now I'm drawing a blank. Very, very good band. I mean, it's her and her husband and another couple harmonizing, and afterwards I wait for it and got a picture taken with her. It was cool. I mean, she does Realize, Falling to You, and all these great songs, and she's one of my favorite singers. So I got to meet her. First time was lucky for her, so that's a good positive thing.
So Deanna said she met Dream Theater with Jeremy's meet and greet pass. That's pretty cool. All right. So Dennis Quaid and Tyra Banks, maybe not so easy to get a picture from.
Tyra Banks, I could definitely agree with that one. I tried to get a picture with her, but unfortunately I had a baby with her, so her people was like, that ain't happening. It just happens sometimes. Like, same thing with Kelly Clarkson. I'm a big fan of Kelly Clarkson. She was on The View. I waited, patiently outside The View studio, and they said, like, security, she went right in, that was it. So, what are you going to do?
Tyra Banks?
Kelly Clarkson. Tyra Banks, too, separate thing. Tyra Banks was at the Today Show. Kelly Clarkson was at The View. So, I mean, you
never know what people have experienced in their life to make them kind of a bit cold to the public,
It all depends. If you have a kid with you, you're not likely to do anything. But if you're by yourself, and it depends what type of mood, or you're in a good mood or bad mood. Sometimes it's not meant to be. The universe says, and this is not the time you're going to get the picture taken. Sometimes you just got to wait for the next time, or just wait for the right moment, or right event, or maybe a show or something like that. It just it wasn't meant to be. Just gotta try again. Just don't give up. Just try again. That's
a great attitude. Nick says that he ran into Mike Myers and Rob Lowe on the street with his friend, and he screamed out, "Yo, Mike!" and they talked for 10 minutes, and he made him laugh. So it's pretty cool to make Wayne from Wayne's World laugh.
Yeah, Wayne's World. That's a big thing. Remember Bohemian Rhapsody got a second life out of that. They played that.
True.
That
was a big deal.
Yeah, the song became a hit again. Bohemian Rhapsody. It's iconic with the movie and the music video with all of them singing in the car. Not everybody can sing like Freddie, but I can at least say I can saw Constantine cover that song, and he did a heck of a job. Not once, but twice. Closed out 2 different shows. The first time was at the Broadway does 70 Rock and Roll. And he's like, I saw Constantine beforehand. He's like, man, I gotta close up the show. He's like, I gotta close up the show. He wanted to go, do it early, but he only did one song, and it was so many different Broadway stars and singers, and I'm like, these female singers are great, and he comes out, I'm like, I know he's gonna nail the ballpark. I know he's gonna nail the ballpark. Bohemian Rhapsody, and he nailed it.
Yeah.
And midway through, he mentioned about Billy Joe's ex, Kirstin Brinkley, was in the audience because her daughter, Alexis, their daughter, Alexis and Billy Joe, daughter Alexis, was there. She performed, did her dad's song.
Okay.
Really good. And he's like, very for Rhapsody, there's Christy right there. That was a cool thing. Constantine was so great. So
yeah, that's when he comes up to bat, I know we're gonna be pleased.
Yeah, anything he could do. Bon Jovi. Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
He nails it.
I've seen him do that. Yeah.
He nails it.
I heard him do Welcome to the Jungle at one of Paulie Z's events, and some high notes in there that not easy to do. But
he gets down and dirty. He goes on top of the table.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes on top of there. He's leaning in there. He's a tall guy to start with, so he's even taller.
This is Constantine Maroulis, right?
Yes.
Check him out, guys, if you don't know him. And I met him once or twice too, and he's cool. He's very approachable. He doesn't put that barrier.
Oh no,
himself and other people.
we talk sports. We're talking football. We're talking Giants and Jets. We're talking baseball. I mean, we're talking like his last time we saw each other. I mean, I'm cool with Constantine. I mean, he's a cool guy. I'm happy I met him thanks to Paulie, and I'm a Constantine fan. I go see him when we open up again, and he's got a new album coming out, Unwanted, and he's been doing press everywhere. So go check out Constantine. So highly recommend it. You won't regret it because he's one of the best rock vocalists out there right now.
So thank you, Deanna, in coming in the clutch moment because my questions are running a little dry. So Deanna has a good question for you. Tom, she says, what songs do you listen to lift your spirits or inspire you?
Good question.
Thank you, Deanna.
I would say Sarah Bareilles' Brave is one of them. I would say The Pretender, Foo Fighters, that gets your energy pumped up, get through the day. Tom Petty, Free Fallin'. Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down. That song's special, I Won't Back Down. Think about this. In the music video, you got two Beatles in there. You got Ringo playing drums. You got George playing guitar. You can't beat that. Mm-hmm. You got Mike Campbell playing. You got Jeff Lynne. I mean, that's awesome. You got two Beatles for the price of one on the Tom Petty song. I mean, I Won't Back Down is a very good saying you're not backing down from anything, wherever's going on, So, I mean, I won't back down if I would say that. Anything else? I think I'll have to go a couple of your songs, too.
Really?
I have to go Late for School. Very catchy.
Wow.
I have to go Lace's Door. And one of my favorite, I think one of your best guitar works, the Icy Cold.
It is Icy Cold.
I mean, your guitar work in that song is really good.
Wow.
I mean, I told you, that song's good for something, for like popsicles, ice cream, something like that. Cold. I mean, the video is really good too. I mean, that's a really good song. Your guitar work is really good. I like you really put the guitar to the pedal.
Cool. I appreciate that. That song was my way of saying I grew up on Metallica, Megadeth, and cool riffs like that, and I thought I don't want to teach my young kids Metallica, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses songs, Black Sabbath, because the lyrics, the mood is questionable, right? Some of it, I don't want to give that to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me write similar style riffs as Metallica, but make it, kid-friendly. So that's where I came up with a lot of the music that I've been doing the past 6 or 7 years. But, even Love Dinosaur came out of that thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I was with you when you did Love Dinosaur. Mm-hmm. And Answer Machine.
Answer Machine came out of that type of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, because especially the technologies were going on. I mean, I was like, we were talking about that, how it's like everything's taking over at the time. Mm-hmm. And Love Dinosaur, I think, was like I said, one of the best songs. I mean, I love the guitar work. I mean, I had little lyrics too, I mean, I think it's one of the strong songs. I mean, especially guitar work. I mean, everybody knows you're a really good guitar player. Really good. I mean, electric guitar, you could put pedal. You could put with energy.
But the funny thing, though, the songs that you like are actually the songs that I really cranked it back, to simplify. The ones that you mentioned, anyway. Those are like the ones that are simpler. But you also said you like the White Stripes and Jack White a lot, which is a similar approach.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean, Seven Army Nation,
basic, riffing. But I understand because you don't need a complicated riff to really groove, and So that was kind of my thinking, and that's where It Is Icy Cold Out comes from. There's a song on my first book called Waiting at the Bus Stop, which is very similar, except I never made a heavy recording of it. But I'm sure you'd like that too. And if I do make a video, I want you to be the guy waiting at the bus stop.
That's my role. Okay. Waiting for the bus stop. I know my role. It's waiting for the bus stop
guy. Yeah.
I'll play air guitar, like like that. Another song, you covered the song very good. Van Halen, Right Here, Right Now. You do an excellent job. I have to give credit to you. You do an excellent job of that song. That's Sammy. I mean, that's another debate too. I mean, Sammy, David Lee Roth. I mean, who would you go with? I mean, they went 3 times, but the third time was not Gary from the Extreme didn't work out. So
yeah, you would think Gary could work out, and on paper it seems good, but
it didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, for me it's a no-brainer. I'm a big Sammy Hagar fan.
I know.
And I'm not a big David Lee Roth fan, although I find him fascinating. I'm glad I appreciate his presence in the universe, but not like. If you like him, you probably don't exactly like him for his vocal prowess, most likely.
I mean, Sammy's a better singer. I mean, I like vocally-wise, Sammy. I mean, Sammy hits the ballads too. I mean, What Is Love? I mean, Right Here, Right Now is a good song. I mean, Can't Stop. I mean, there's so many good songs. I mean, one of my favorite songs, actually, is a harder song. If you ever remember from the movie Twister, Human Beings?
Maybe.
That song, Eddie's playing guitar work is like sick. I mean, it was a big song for the soundtrack. I mean, Human Beings. I mean, Sammy's doing these heavy vocals. I mean, metal, like hard rock vocals. I mean, and Eddie's playing the guitar. Al's doing his thing, and I mean, Michael Anthony, who gets a little overlooked as being the bass player, from Van Halen. I mean, he got replaced by Wolfgang. I mean, he works with Sammy Hagar for his projects and stuff, and he's a very good backup vocalist too, Michael Anthony. Everybody forgets that.
I mean, Van Halen's a great band, so they couldn't be a great band without a great bass player. So he's a great bass player.
But his vocalist is hard to replace. I mean, his vocals are really key for Van Halen. I mean,
true, yeah, which is kind of easy to overlook that. Right?
Yeah, and another song I forgot. I mean, you personally know this. I mean, I used to do karaoke at the bowling alley. We used to have karaoke. Neil Young, Keep It Rockin' in the Fee World. I mean, that's my favorite song. I mean, that song, that's a good song. I mean, Neil Young's guitar work is excellent. I mean, that's a song that gets you pumped up and, get through the day. If bowling in the background or doing some work in the gym or just pulling some weeds in the grass, I mean, that's a good song, like rock song,
Yeah, that's a good one. I did consider covering that at some point.
I think you could do it. I mean,
yeah, it might be a little too much for me lyrically, but
I mean, he's speaking the truth at the time. I mean, it's like really. I mean, he's so anti what's going on with the society. What he's talking about with all the stuff going on. And he's really good, Neil Young. And he's a good singer songwriter, great guitar player. I mean, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only person in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times is Eric Clapton. Okay. Fun fact.
Eric Clapton, Cream, and what else?
The Birds.
Okay.
Yeah, the Birds. Yeah, the Yardbirds. That was the first band because they had 3 different guitar players: Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and Eric Clapton, all at different times.
Right.
Cream and solo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Beatles, there were twice. Solos and the Beatles.
Yeah.
But one person that should be in the Hall of Fame, she didn't make it, was Pat Benatar, which she gets overlooked. She's one of the best rockers, female rockers.
Right.
I mean, Love is a Battlefield, Hit Me Your Best Shot, all these other good songs. I mean, she, like, it was an image, like, not that many rockers, female rockers. I mean, some people like Joan Jett also, but, like, Pat Benatar, like she could hang with her own, too, so.
Mm-hmm. So, pretty cool. Mr. Rams from Madison, Robert Rams is joined us, or did at some point, and people shouting out. So, if you're still there, shout out to Robert Rams. He was the Madison band teacher for many years.
I remember
inspired lots of musicians.
I remember I had Miss Morris from Madison for music appreciation.
Oh, yeah, okay. And Miss Morris, yeah, she's still, I see her active on Facebook a lot, and we still communicate. Oops, let me pause this. So I pulled out my Spotify playlist to add some songs I want to tell you about that I One, because Deanna got me thinking with her question about what do you listen to, inspire you, uplift you. So a few songs.
I do follow you on Spotify. I did like you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, so if any John Henry Sheridan music fans, please go to Spotify and type my name, John Henry Sheridan, and follow me. I would be much appreciated.
All right. Also do Natalie Gelman, Najah Lewis, Erin Bowman. They were in the same category. So
oh yeah, and, right. If Najah, I'm gonna put those names in the show notes later. If Najah Lewis, Natalie Bowman,
Erin Bowman,
Erin Bowman,
Natalie Gelman, Maritza Lord, they're all on Spotify.
Find them.
Support Spotify.
Them. Yeah, support your artists on Spotify and social media. It helps to click that button. You know, if nothing else, just to kind of give us a.
I mean, you're on my playlist too. I mean,
punch in the arm. You know. So there's a great song by a band called Anathema. I believe they're from Britain. I forget which town.
Okay.
But called Anathema. I've been a fan on and off since the late 90s. And they stuck with it, and they got better and better. And the song is called Untouchable Part 1. And, dude, man, when we talk about, like, how Foo Fighters just, like, they start quiet and just throughout the course of the 4 or 5 minute song, they crank it up, crank it up, crank it up. That's what that song does. And it does it really good. And there's even a female vocalist comes in towards the end. And this guy's got a great voice, a mean, like, acoustic guitar hook, but just cycling, and then it just builds. And then the heavy guitars come in. Moves me every time. I'm jogging, tears are going down my cheek as I listen. It's good. That uplifts me a lot. So Anathema, Untouchable, Part 1. Really beautiful song. The song The Couch by Alanis Morissette. Really beautiful. Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner by Iron Maiden. The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner gets me. There is one Guns N' Roses song, the new Guns N' Roses, which you don't want to give a chance.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Better. You're going to like it. Promise you. You're going to like it. It's called Better.
Uh-huh.
From the Chinese Democracy album, with what's his name, Buckethead playing guitar, I believe. Yeah. Okay, guys, is my voice okay? Did I start getting quiet again? There's also a Brazilian pop artist. Now, my friends in Brazil probably think he's a little bit. It's not quite like being a Justin Bieber fan, but he's very pop. So if I was Brazilian, I may not be a fan, but because I'm American and I have my distance. Anyway, there's this one really great song by a guy named Luan Santana named Te Esperando, and it's just, gives me the chills every time I listen to it. Te Esperando. Fly on Your Wings is a good ZO2 song. It's uplifting.
That's good.
Living Now is also a really good ZO2 song. You could find that on Spotify. Sometimes Metallica. By the way, Danny California, right? Okay, thanks, Nick. Nick is chiming in. Let me know the sound's okay. Appreciate that, Nick Pileggi, for chiming in. Yeah, Danny California, By the Way, Other Side. These are all Chili Pepper songs that lift me up.
One of my favorite Metallica songs is Seek and Destroy. Now, there's a reason why for that, because I'm a big wrestling fan too. And my boy, Sting, who I met twice, the icon of Sting, not the bass player from the Police, Sting, to clarify, Sting, the iconic wrestler. I met him twice. Second time, New York Comic Con. First time at Coney Island at Impact Wrestling. And his theme song later on in WCW was Seek and Destroy by Metallica. Metallica played that song. So it was legitimate to use that song. So Seek and Destroy, I was like, that was awesome.
That was probably the second Metallica song I ever played. The first one being For Whom the Bell Tolls. That's everyone's first Metallica cover. Am I right?
And the Sandman's up there too, because
the Sandman. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a little harder. It's a little harder.
That's been used for ball games. I mean, music's all around us. When you think about ball games, you hear Yankee fans, Marion Rivera, play that. I mean, the Sandman, the wrestler who I met at the WrestleCon 2019 on my birthday. I mean, he comes out with the Sandman, Metallica,
Oh yeah.
Cinnabon Cane beer, and just like that song to get you pumped up, So, I mean, music is all around us, in concerts, and you go to ball games, hockey events, wrestling, and wrestling plays a big part of music, plays a big part of that. So, I mean,
True.
And a lot of rock bands like Motorhead, like Lemmy, he did songs for WWE, for Triple H, Time to Play the Game, and I forgot the other song, but Lemmy was a big fan. Triple H big fan of Lemmy, so he went to his thing.
So let me just shout out a few more artists. So Nick Scarboni mentions that Scarboni on Spotify. So I guess that's your original project, Nick, right? So, and thanks for the feedback. Nick Scarboni is also saying he sounds good over there. Yeah, and shout out to Mr. O'Hara from Madison too. He was an influence on me. Actually, Mr. O'Hara from Madison. Now that Nick brought that up, he had a cover band when he was teaching music theory class when I was a senior, and he covered Monkey Wrench. Or My Hero.
Oh, My Hero, that's a good one.
Yeah, and he had a great voice, that guy. And he taught me how to project. It was like the only vocal lesson I ever took in my life, maybe. Maybe Paulie gave me some tips along the way or something. And Dave Z, they gave me tips how to project. But this guy taught me how to, send my voice like an arrow across the room. And that's pretty much the extent of my vocal lessons as far as I can remember. So Scarboni on Spotify, check him out. A couple other artists, Spotify artists or indie artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one guy named Brian Campeau, Campeau, from Canada, I believe. He has a song called Next October, and it's a nasty guitar riff. It's like it's acoustic, and if you're a guitar player, your head starts going, what? It's like it's just enough to like pull you out of orbit. But it's still, you can there's a cool drum backbeat that fits over it nicely. It's weird. And with these like harmonized like 70s vocals, pretty cool. Next October by Brian Campeau. And Chris Robley, check him out. There's various songs. The Holy Go-Between is one of his. Another guy I met, another artist, it's a band. They're a new band in Austin. The singer had lived in Brooklyn for a while. I don't know if he was from Brooklyn, or I think he's from Long Island, lived in Brooklyn for a while, then moved out to Austin. And the name of this band is called Hvy Mtl Bk Clb. Love that name. That's so cool.
That's a cool name.
I hope they're still good together. I met them in Austin in 2019. Hvy Mtl Bk Clb. So without Hvy Mtl Bk Clb, without any vowels. And they have a song called Pantheon, which I think is pretty awesome. And one more. I do like a lot of indie artists. I kind of forgot.
That's
and
good.
I'm glad. Yeah, they're on my playlist.
That's
I'm
good,
not just
good.
like feeding the beast of like all the majors.
That's very good.
There's a band called Stolen Silver. Stolen Silver. They have two songs I want to mention. One is called Prefontaine, like the marathon runner.
Okay.
Prefontaine. Maybe not a marathon, but he was very fast. He won a lot of records. He was in the Olympics. Died young. Like if you run like Prefontaine, it means like you run through excruciating pain. Like that's kind of like the symbolism of his name, Prefontaine. And Stolen Silver has a song called Awake and Alive that also moves me. Stolen Silver. And one more band from Brooklyn who I saw when I went to see my friend Maria Neckam, who's also a very good indie artist, indie rock artist, Maria Neckam. The song title's evade me in the moment, but you could check her out, and as well as Pale Raymond or Pale Ramon. They have a song called Beat Punk and a cool video on YouTube, Pale Raymond, where it's pretty raw, and the singer plays keyboard, and he's like kind of screaming. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool.
You know what? When you mentioned about that, I mentioned about I forgot to mention when I saw Clutch twice. My brother's very lucky. I treated him both times the Clutch. That's one of his favorite bands. So we saw him Central Park. We saw him at the what was the other one place? I forgot, in the city. And first time Central Park was Mastodon, and the other band was called Graveyard from Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Graveyard was a garage rock band. 2 thumbs up. Excellent.
Graveyard. Mm-hmm.
And when I saw Clutch second time, I forgot where I saw him the second time. Maybe it was Irving Plaza, maybe, or where it was in the city. Maybe Irving Plaza, my brother. And this band, 2-piece band from France, Spectacle. Singer, guitar player, drummer. That's it. Opening act, fantastic. Spectacle. Look them up. Excellent. I mean, they had so much energy. They had the crowd going on. I mean, they sound like they're not from France. They sound like they're from here or whatever, but they were great rock and roll opening band. High energy. Then they had another band open up, which was not so good. They're from California, 2-piece band. It was like very loud. So it was like totally different because Spectacle could understand everything they're saying. They got high energy to get the crowd into it. And this other band, I forgot the name of the band, and my brother and I said the same thing. It was like 2 thumbs down. It was not good.
Yeah. It happens, man. There's all sorts of, and just because you have a bad show doesn't mean the band's bad, but
No, but you know,
it could mean that. Yeah.
and when Clutch is it's a tough spot because they're a very good band, and Mosh Pit, and my brother's a big fan of this, and I'm happy I got to see him twice, and I always treat him. They're performing the city. I'll treat my brother because he's a big Clutch fan, but Graveyard, I love to see him again, and Spectacle. I mean, I didn't expect this band from France, 2-piece band, just awesome rock and roll. I mean, high energy. I mean, I would say one of the best opening acts I ever seen. Maybe equal to 3 Days Grace, maybe, because Disturb was great at the Garden. And that went with my brother, too. I mean, that was 2019. I met up with Nick, my buddy Nick, afterwards, and Disturb was great. They was like the first time I played at the Garden. And that was really good. It was a last-minute thing. My brother had an extra ticket because his friend, he was a personal trainer, and his client couldn't go. I was like, he woke me up. I'm getting ready to go. I'm a school crossing, guys. I'm ready to go to school. You want to go to concert tonight? See 3 Days Grace and Disturb? I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm a big 3 Days Grace. Your Pain Break, all the other stuff. And to see them live was great. And they did Seven Army Nation. I mean, 3 Days Grace was great. And Disturb was really good. I mean, I recommend Land of Confusion. Genesis song, they take it, they amp it up.
Really?
I mean, it took Genesis song, which is great. Lenny Confusion, great video back in the 80s with Phil Collins, Mike, and stuff. But they take that video to a whole different level. They crank up the energy for that song.
3 Days Grace does that?
Disturb.
Oh, yeah.
Land of Confusion. I mean, they amp it up. The video is very animated.
Yeah.
I mean, they just amp it up. So
it's dark.
One of the best covers, I would definitely have to say. I mean, of all time. I mean, I recommend Land of Confusion.
So, I think we're getting to that time where it's about time to wrap up. I know.
Get 2 questions.
I better get to eating soon. Okay, so let's see what you got here.
Okay. Who are your influences as a guitar player, bass player, and drummer?
You just opened up another half hour. Let's see if I can do this quick. Influences as a guitar player, bass player, and drummer.
Because you play all instruments. So as your friend, as your fan, I know you do all 3 for your songs. It's just like, who's your influence, like each one? Like.
All right. I'll try to do a quick response. I can go on and on, but let's say for guitar, the main ones that come to mind: Randy Rhoads.
Excellent choice.
Kirk Hammett was a big influence from Metallica's James Hetfield as well. Slash from Guns N' Roses. I'd say Mick Mars from Motley Crue was in the early stages, was a big influence, as well as the Adrian Smith and Dave Murray from Iron Maiden, Michael Weeketh and Kai Hansen from Halloween. And then later on, as I evolved, it became things like Dave Matthews guitar playing did influence me.
That's
Certainly,
interesting choice.
yeah, it did. Certainly Paul Simon, James Taylor, Jim Croce. As far as like the acoustic singer-songwriter thing, even Pete Seeger, very just like basic bum 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 bum, you know, strumming patterns. And then some classical guitar players, Leo Brower in the classical world, Andrew York, someone that sticks out in my mind. Benjamin Verdery was a really great classical player who also like would whip out a Jimi Hendrix tune, you know, on the classical guitar. He was some inspirational guy. So I'll leave it at that for guitar players. There's probably countless more. And then Marty Friedman, also a guitar player, and Dave Mustaine. Thank you, Nick Pileggi says, it was a great show. Yeah, we're about to wrap up. Thank you, Deanna, for the thumbs up and
Thank you.
And the guitars. I know you guys definitely have to eat dinner and all sorts of things, so thank you for sticking around.
I know we were gonna go a long show. That's why.
Yeah.
I had nothing planned, so this is
Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. It's a good way to spend the afternoon.
quality time with my buddy.
Yeah.
And talking music, which is something we both can relate to.
I'm sure we could do it again.
Oh, definitely. We could do even more hours.
I know.
All experiences. I mean, even non-music stuff too.
Yeah, true.
We got a lot of good ventures we did over the years.
So let me give you 5 bass players.
Okay.
Steve Harris from Iron Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Grobkopf from Halloween. Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses, no doubt. Big
Good choice.
influence. Bass players. Probably Geddy Lee, I think, because he was such a... I don't know. I think I played a little bit like him in terms of like being very active.
Yeah.
I played bass in an active way. I played like a guitarist for a while when I played bass. Oh, and let's just be fair. David Z. Rock was a huge influence to me as a bass player. I loved listening to him play. I've played with him. I've watched him.
I can testify. What a bass player. What energy.
Yeah, so David Zabludowski was another one of my big influences as a bass player. Okay. Nick Pileggi was saying that was a great show. He was talking about Disturbed. It was a great show.
Yes, I was with Nick.
I was reading. I'm like, Nick, you're right, because I was thinking I should wrap up the show because I got to eat dinner. So Nick was like hinting, time to go. You know, he has to leave. Then our Nick Scarboni is saying, want me to get you guys a pizza. Thanks. Thanks, Nick.
Pizza sounds good.
For Tom, that sounds good. I wish I could say yes. I'm actually a vegan. I'm plant-based, so when I eat pizza, I take all the cheese off, which is not a lot of fun for
the cheese part of
the
pizza.
people who are watching. Yeah, believe me, the taste is great.
I know.
You know, it's a choice I made.
I know. And what about drummer?
For drummers, I think I kind of gave the list, but I'll just briefly say Nickel McBrain, Iron Maiden. I would say Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. Lars Ulrich from Metallica, Nick Menza from Megadeth, Ingo Schwichtenberg from Halloween. What's his name from Billy Joel? Do you know his name offhand? The Billy Joel drummer?
Oh, no. I don't know of him.
Yeah, he's... Nick, you probably know his name, right? Who's the guy who plays, or Deanna, do you know? The Billy Joel drummer. He's got a kind of funny name. Liberty DeVito. Yeah, he's got a great name. He's awesome. He's really awesome. The Dave Matthews drummer. I should know his name.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Taylor Hawkins later on.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate. David Grohl, I can't deny. I must have been influenced by his drumming because I listened to a lot of Nirvana. Yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that.
You want my final question?
Yes, and now for Tom's final question. Tom is so generous of spirit that he turned his interview towards me.
Who would be in your all-star jam for one night only? No, this is some of your bands. For your bands all time. One night only, you get to perform.
Oh, of people I've played with, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, all time, one-time jam. We're having like a Paulie Z bash. You know, you're having one time only. Anybody from all your musical histories, who would be on the stage with you?
Oh, I can't say, because then whoever's not included, if they watch this, they'll hold it against me. No, maybe I'll kind of just, I'll say what comes to mind. Being cognizant that so many people I've played with, it depends on the song, right? You know,
We're doing a rock song. Let's make it a little better. We're doing a rock song. We're doing like I don't know, maybe one of your original songs, or maybe doing a classic song, like just to go end the show.
All right, end the show with a spectacle.
A spectacle. All-Star Jam. We're doing like a nice rock. We're not doing no ballads. We'll pump up the energy. We're doing a nice song at the end.
All right, and just to mention, Nick Pileggi says that he's currently learning bass, and he's decided to learn YYZ by Rush thanks to the David Z tribute show. Yeah, that was a cool Rush tune that I seen the Z Brothers play a few times with Legend, the early rock band. Anyway, so it's hard not to put the Z Brothers in this, you know.
You had to put them in it.
But, like, am I the singer, or I could put someone else as the singer?
It's up to you.
Okay.
You could do. You can sing like Paulie does. You sing one part. He sings one part.
Okay.
Whoever, you know, you're on the stage. I'm saying this is like all-star jam for one night only. End of the show. We're doing a nice rock song. Maybe one of yours. One of somebody's classic song. I don't know. Just a nice way to go. Everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, it's so tough. Some of the musicians I really enjoy playing with kind of don't play anymore.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to like include them.
But maybe they come out for one night. If it's a one night thing, maybe one night they come out of a time, or come out of just a break, which is like you know.
Yeah. Okay. Just on I would have to include a lot of my friends. Like I would want on bass. I wouldn't. Of course, my first pick right now would be Dave Z, just because of his flexibility to do anything. But I would want my friend Constantine Maroulis to be on bass. I want Jeremy Batchelor to play bass. Nico Caparos to play bass. These are all bass players I loved working with. Then for drums,
you got a lot of good drummers.
Yeah, I'd love to play with Dave Evans, and Dave Z would be a fun combination. We did maybe occasionally have played together at some point, jamming or something. And I would love Rob Benson.
Rob's really good.
I jam. Rob and Dave Z and I jam together too. And Justin Longo too, depending on the style. You know, hard hitting rock. He's great for that. And Duke, Nick Scarboni. He was never my drummer. He was the drummer that I had the fortune to experience through my other connections. But I never played with him guitar and drums. I sang over his playing. But he's like a wall of sound. But actually, I would really love to play with Joey Cassata. I would like to play with Zio too, you know, in a way. Joey Cassata, Paulie Z, David Z. But I don't know if that's really my style, you know. And then Antonio Cortez, the drummer of Plush.
Antonio's a very good friend of ours.
Yeah, really good friend of the Z Brothers.
He did a good job. I saw him play drums for the last of the cutting room. Really good. Excellent. I spoke to him. He did a great job.
Yeah, so we've played together before, and he's a fun drummer to work with. And
I got to put Josh there too. Josh
Lamont. Yeah.
You got to put Josh.
Of course, man. Yeah, and playing Josh on drums would be fantastic.
Imagine him and Joey together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Josh. Yeah, Joey Cassata. Josh Salon.
That'd be really...
Dave Evans, Justin Longo, Rob Benson. These are the drummers that... I never actually played with Joey Cassata. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like I did somehow, but I didn't.
We've been in the same room and stuff. I mean...
Yeah, and jam with several same people.
I think it'll work out great because Joey's got good vibes, and he brings high energy as a drummer. plus the vocals too, backup vocals, maybe like that. So it'd be a really good
Yeah,
jam.
that would work. Yeah, I think I would. Yeah. And guitar players. Oh man, I gotta be careful. I know so many guitar players, so who's gonna be offended?
Everybody's included. So make it.
Yeah,
Everybody's happy. Everybody's included.
But yeah, I'd love to include Lou LaRocco.
Of course, Lou. We got Lou there. We can have Josh. We can have you. We can have you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to have Joey Dweck or Joey Melody Ride on guitar. Paulie Z, great guitar player.
Yes, he is. I could testify to that.
Yeah, probably a lot of others. There's also this guy Ralphie, who's a great bass player, Lou's friend. Yeah, other guitar players I know. Will Seaford, who's a friend of mine, great guitar player. Yeah, I'm glad that you made it people I know instead of rock stars, because that would be
this is a nice one-time thing. It's everybody, everybody's invited. Just a great jam to go off the show.
Ronnie Nissenboim would be a guitar player I'd love to have there. He's an awesome guitar player, teacher. Actually, Andy Nissenboim's a really good bass player too. His brother, Matthew Rosenthal. He's a kind of new on the scene. In some ways, he's been playing for a while, but he's an emerging artist, I would say. In some respects, because he is young, but incredible guitarist. Matthew Rosenthal. He would be on my list of people to be in my super band, too. I'd put my classical guitar teacher, Lars Franson.
That's fine.
Getting some classical going.
Yeah, this is a nice jam.
Oh, yeah. And Nick Pileggi says Sean Salant. Yeah, I didn't think of him because I never played with him, but I know he's in the periphery. And
yeah, Sean. I mean,
I would love to have him.
I mean, Nick and I saw Sean and Josh at the Max Fish last year, and they were great, two of them. So, and the band was good. I mean, small venue, Max Fish in the city. So Josh and Sean be a great addition, and I have to throw Constantine to that mix too.
Yeah, so guys, if you're watching and we've jammed together and your heart is broken because I didn't mention your name, you know me. I just love playing with everyone. I'm just going off the top of my head. I'm really
we throw J5 into the list
in that way. Yeah, J5 on keyboard. Of course, we got Nick Scarboni here, who I recall being quite a keyboardist. So let's get him in there. And if Nick Pileggi's learning bass, come along. You'll be in this super jam.
I'll be the biggest cheerleader.
You're getting tambourine. And Deanna is going to play flute, and she's going to sing and play tambourine too, I think. Yeah, that's about who I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great jam.
And I want to get Lonnie Friedland, as far as singers go, get Lonnie up there. Get Gabriel Doretta is a great singer. Andy Beck, great singer I work with. Paulie Z, of course.
Of course. Paulie, get Constantine, too.
Yeah, Constantine, why not come along for the ride?
I'm friends with him, too.
I mean, he's going to make everyone else look tiny. But, no.
I mean, him and Paulie are tall together, so.
Right, yeah, size, and then he's just going to outshine Paulie, too.
I mean, the vocals, them too alone, that everybody's going to leave in a happy, thumbs up, that the epic concert, like everybody talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's so many other people Nemanja on guitar, my friend Nemanja Rebic, who I had the other day.
Oh, yeah, he would be a good choice.
He's an outstanding guitar player.
It'd be a great jam. Everybody would be happy, smiling, talking about it, the epic concert, This is, like, awesome.
Yeah, I think I had a dream one time where I was doing this, like, epic concert outdoors, and it was like a dream concert, like all the people I've met in my life who I want to play with. Yeah, I would like to have my friend Amir on sax. There's a acquaintance friend I have named Samir, who also is a great sax player. Yeah, any amazing musician that I've known, I would love to. And it doesn't have to be amazing. Just got to have the heart. It's the heart,
passion.
Yeah, have the heart, the passion, that
the drive.
Yeah, just wanting to make it a good time.
Yeah.
TJ, Tommy Hoffman. Also another fun bass player to work with. He brings a lot of energy,
That'd be cool.
So that's, I'm forgetting, this guy Mikey Perillo, who's an energy bomb of a bass player. years ago, and Beating Chaos. He played with us. Yeah, I think that's that's that. So 3 hours and 30 seconds. So I think it's time to wrap up. We can go on. You guys are awesome for hanging out. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their July, and I think we're gonna see this guy again on the show before long. And thank you, Tom, for being here.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. This was great. I mean, this is fun. I mean, just forget about everything, like all everything else. Just having a conversation with you and just talk about memories and good stuff. And music is a universal language, and just talking about music. And
yeah, that's great. No, this is very cool. And oh, Nick Pileggi says his brother Chris is an excellent bassist. Okay, so let's get Chris on there.
Thank you for everybody tuning in, and share it, everybody. Share it on Facebook. Word of mouth is like, everybody check out John's podcast. I mean, this is number 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna be continuing to hone it, and make it as good of a show as I can. But right now, we're just keeping it cool, relaxed, just hanging out together. I plan on putting my podcast onto Stitcher, iTunes, where podcasts are found too, not just on visually. I'm also planning to put it on YouTube. I'm getting started. There's nothing to do but start, right?
Yeah, get your feet wet, and you're going in the right direction. And you got plenty of stories to tell, and this way people can learn from your stories, and learn and talk about stuff and share the good times and the experiences, and it's a good way for your book.
Yeah. Right, thank you. Is there, my autobiography coming out soon. Elizabeth Vernon says, hey, guys.
Hey, Beth.
All right. So is there anything else you'd like to tell anybody? Anything you want to promote? I'm pretty sure you've mentioned all the artists. Anything other particular you'd like to share?
I recommend on YouTube, The Professor of Rock. I told you, Adam Reeder. I mean, he goes in deep down about music, about like the outfield, Your Love, and talk about Phil Collins, where I mentioned about, like, he's the first artist, you think about it, back and forth, Genesis, solo, and they're all good. Most times, a solo artist leaves the band, goes solo, and that's it. But Phil Collins, for that 80s, Genesis, solo, and no, like, bomb here, top of the top.
So, Professor of Rock on YouTube?
Yeah, Adam Reeder, look him up. I recommend for a movie yesterday, but the movie about the Beatles
didn't exist. Right?
Like, that's scary to think about the world with no Beatles. I mean,
right.
I mean, thankful we had Chuck Berry and Little Richard and Buddy Holly and Elvis and all those artists, because if we didn't have those artists, there would be no Beatles. Right. So I mean,
it's all connected, man.
It's all connected.
Hey, Beth. Miss you too.
We miss you.
So, all right. So, Professor of Rock and the movie yesterday.
Yeah, definitely recommend that, and just support your local artists, and Spotify, YouTube. Check him out. He's got great music and stuff, videos. Mm-hmm. I'm in the videos too.
Right. Check out
Laser Star, Martian Marshmallows, Late for School, and Bells of Gladness.
Mm-hmm. On my YouTube page, John Henry Sheridan Music, and don't hesitate to subscribe there.
And don't forget, John's got his single string books.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, single string song books, which if you're interested in learning guitar, or you want to teach your child, or if you have students, you want to teach them really basic, easy, fun stuff, I have a series of books. If you sign my JohnHenryGuitarLessons.com mailing list, then you get a free sampler, and you can be in touch. Don't feel free to email me to learn any more about guitar lessons or music or songwriting or any questions, maybe just about doing a podcast. If you see something that you're curious about, ideas for a future show, that's fine. And where can people reach you, Tom, if they just got to ask you questions?
I'm on Facebook. I mean, we got like over 58 friends, mutual friends. Facebook. I love Candy Crush. It's my favorite game on Facebook. And, maybe catch me on the street. I'm a crossing guard, making sure kids cross safely, Yep. I work at a deli, Wilkins, second job, I do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Maybe catch me walking around, or
In Mill Basin,
Mill
or
Basin.
Marine Park, or by downtown Brooklyn. Who knows?
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, music's my thing. I love music. I'm a passionate music fan, and happy to support my buddy right here. And happy this is a great show, and happy to be a guest on it. And I think we did pretty well today.
Yes.
Time went fast.
So high five. Yeah, time
Alright.
flies when you're having fun.
I know.
That means we had fun.
It was a good experience.
And I think our listening audience did too. Thank you so much for the friends commenting. Nick, Elizabeth, Deanna, and more. Darlene in the beginning. It's hard to keep track of everyone, so if I don't say your name again, you know who you are. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Planning to come back not this Friday, next Friday with my guest Tommy Zavitas. But let me
That should be a good guess.
let me check in with him first.
All right, we're gonna support that when that goes on too. So I'll be your street team on the mission.
Yes, so one-man street team, Tom Scuderi. If you need a street team, look him up, and he'll be happy to support you as long as what you're doing rocks.
Rocks and positive too.
And it's positive. Yeah, he's not going to support negative garbage, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Until next time, stay well.